Well, if you're sitting here,
I am not here for the tilapia.
Well, it is what it is. I'll be eating it. I'll let you guys know how it is at noon.
Sorry about that.
We've had some pretty good luck with it. That's what it's all about.
All right, go swimming, come back. We're doing that.
It is 11 o'clock. Remember, we have Luis coming at 1 o'clock, so enjoy that. We've got the options. We've got our good friend Sharif. We'll be back at 2 for more action. Send it off to the midday.
A lot of expensive small cap gappers today. I'm displeased. Boom! Greetings and salutations.
May as well just go straight to Adara right now.
Something's going on back there. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy Joey Opsh. I'm Sharif, and let's say hello to everybody in the chat.
I think that would be my soccer Sally if I...
Yeah?
Yeah, that's a cool one.
I think I've seen some people do something similar, like a frame, like take a picture of me. That's your own thing. What is this supposed to be, though? Yeah, but I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hangry Wife, Nick. T, what's up, Benton? We got Tamina. Man, there was Premier League on today and yesterday, by the way. Dark Skirvin. The Skips. We got Plaman Sergev, M. Kelsey, MF Dangerous. We got Anurag Lee, the conductor. Shout out to Mr. Leahy and Brown Lightning. Rev Boost joining us as well. Buffalo Soldier, Ahmad, Habibi, come to Egypt. We got Lee, we got Guy, we got Papacito, Val the Chart Gal. I like Val the Chart Gal. That's a fantastic name there. Gavin Irish. Shout out to Yummy Thai Foods, Andrew Chow, John Zuver, Oshiro, Shiri, Kobe the Kid, DAP, like literally DAP. And then, if DAP wasn't enough, there's Dabba Do. Shout out to, you know who that is. Callum Mitchell Miller. We got Mike, the Stock Impaler, Sit and Spin. Shout out to Stone Broke since yesterday. Trip Q, YV 7584, Trade Sniper, Oslam, KD Dumpster. All right, we got Joseph Brown. One more. Chris Godson 1. Bash Bros, right back at you, man. Hope you're having a fantastic morning.
Yes.
Good morning to you, brother.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. And good morning, JVS John Von Sawyer. Good morning. I hope everyone's having a fantastic one. You guys know how we get down around here. Enough is enough. Let's get right into some of these trades, guys. Man, Sharif, what does this say right here?
It says TQQ's PM pump can lead into intraday selling.
Where's Wendy's tendencies? Spin it, man. And well, I'll just hit this one right now just because. Oh, did you hit something?
Yeah, it's all good.
We'll hit this one more time, bang. All right, no, in all seriousness, guys, not too bad of a start here. Market is selling. Let's get right into the trades, guys. LYFT, that was number 2 on my radar, and we're going to get into Unity momentarily. Look for the short, guys. We get this nice little move up. I start at half size, and then as soon as we get that curl over, and I realize that this is going to be a failed bull flag breakout, we double it up, and then now we're fortunate enough to be currently sitting in this position. Roughly around 25% of remaining size right now. Let's see if we can get an additional breakdown or it's going to break up. So there it is on LYFT, straight to the downside, guys. Market continuously selling. Now moving forward, heading over to Unity. So this was a big mistake on my behalf, right? Like, I'm like, oh, okay, let's get involved. I believe we're going to break the neckline. We'll pull up on the higher time frame so you guys can see. And I'm like, as soon as this breaks, I'm involved. But I'm like, with the momentum to the downside, I think I want to participate a little bit earlier. So I get involved. And then I got out. Once again, whoever said yesterday, Joe, hockey air incoming was correct right here. I get out accidentally. I'm like, no. And then it took me a while to re-trigger in. But a nice little move, and I don't have much left here on Unity, you guys, about 5 to like 2.5%, nothing whatsoever. So if it comes back to my break even, we get all out of that one. So we're still in Unity. We're still in LYFT. I can do a transaction on LYFT so you guys can see what I'm in, but I don't know if the position board's working just yet or if Sharif's in anything. And one more. Good. I took a scalp on this. It wasn't much. Like, I went really, really small, and then sure enough, I'm like, oh, looks like price is going to turn around, and I didn't want to get caught in any form of a rebound and a strong break through the volume-weighted average price. So I get a small scalp to the short side here, nothing much whatsoever, boom, and then eventually it curls back over, breaks through the support level, and then that's when you get that additional leg lower. And we were talking about the supply zones around 73, and then Brent from Spot Gamma as well was talking about LYFT, $18 mark, and I'm like, yeah, perfect. We're kind of thinking about the same thing here. here. Even though we were nowhere close to that level, I'm like, yes, let's get the shorts rolling on today's session. Now, I just went over those 3 names. Neckline break right here, neckline break on the TQQs. I was thinking short on them, but I had other things in my mind, and that was going to be Robinhood, U, and LYFT. Those were the 3 primary on my list today, and we took all 3 of them for somewhat of a trade.
That's the move, man. Way to dunk and close off the summary there. First and foremost, let's get to the super chat. Thank you very much. David Amesi, whoever did the Vlad thumbnail, I saw it, I laughed. I think I'm going to have to blame Ram for this one. It's either Ram or Brendo. It's one of the two. Whoever did the Vlad thumbnail, LMAO, so flattering. Haha, I think that's Ram or Fabian Fingerprints. It's definitely not Fabian. Fabian has got other tasks. It's either Ram or Brendo. One of the two. You were close. Thank you very much, though, for the $5 super chat there. It is funny looking there. Vlad, he looks none too pleased. And I don't why I hear her.
You see what she wrote?
I hear her, yeah. It's definitely her.
Is she talking about Ten?
Yeah, she is talking about Ten.
Yeah, after he got that haircut, the glow up Vlad, man. Glow up
but
Vlad.
you know, he's probably not smiling today, Joey. Well, man. You know what? Maybe he's seen better days, but it'll be back. Let's get right down to work. Today is going to be one of those days where I feel like I'm going to be feast or famine. Reason being, some of these small cap gappers, I would say the majority of them today are quite expensive. NKTR up nicely, $64. VRT up nicely as well, $240. We got BWA up pretty good, $64 going on $65. SNXX, $36. So these ones are an expensive bunch. There is 2 that I've got my eye on right now, 3, pardon me, that do fit my, single digits, low double digits not requirement, but, preference. NCI, here it is, coming into the high of the day, 69, 72 high, there's 70. This is on the breakout. It's a midday mover as well. This only started breaking out at 1040, and there it is into the high of the day, 175. It's got its ascension feed on. QVCGP, yeah, it's a mouthful right there. We're pulling back into the volume weighted average price overlap here between the volume weighted average price and the 10 EMA on the 5. QVCGP is up 150%. It's $6. I'm likely going to be focusing on this one. Topping tail candle into 814. Now bleeding its own blood down into 6. 6 again. The overlap between the 10 EMA, the volume weighted average price, and the whole dollar level at 6. This one could be good. ASTI. This is a holdover from yesterday. Look at the nice move ASTI did there right from the get-go, right at 930. Today it continues, taking out yesterday's high, which was 850. Couldn't do any better than that. Pre-market, post-market, regular trading hours, you name it. It was 850. Today, it's 898, so essentially 9. Up another 20%. ASTI's looking real good over here. So some of them are expensive, right? But if it sets up and it's like an A+ setup, we're going to take a shot. Otherwise, we're going to be focusing, Joey, on these more, the reasonably priced names for the small cap gapper. All right, guys, NCI is just absolutely rocketing up. So let's cut the crap and let's get right to the trading screen. It's a 189 high. It's up 140%. It's a new mover. Look at the volume bars, bottom right of your screen. They are just making the move. Like so, for example, the breakout at 1040, that was on about 371,000 shares. Let's take this candle, 1.5 million shares, prior candle, 1.3. So the volume coming in anew. Let's keep an eye out on this one. I've got a bias here, buy zone, 150 to 160. Let it drop down a little bit. Let it reset. It's a bit of an extended move here into that 189. We always talk about keeping an eye on the price range or the current price action relative to the 10 EMA on the 5. When it gets a bit extended, it's usually due for a bit of a pullback. So those are the 7 that I'm looking at. QNCX, as you can see here on this chart, we'll move over the ticker from yesterday. It was a good mover yesterday. Shout out, I forget who mentioned this to me in the chat. I think it was Yannick. Shout out to Yannick. But today, holding some, general area highs. I want to talk about that aftermarket high. Or not even aftermarket, sorry, 3 o'clock high, got into about 65 pennies, and today 65 pennies is support. So yesterday's high a day ends up being today's support. I guess it broke up further in the aftermarket when there were no volatility halt parameters, but that 65 double bottom, and I'm talking about at 8:30 and again at 10 o'clock, seems to be really overlapping with that area high that we made at 3 o'clock yesterday. So QNCX will be in focus, but you know the rules. It's got to take out the pre-market high.
All right, man. Yeah, Lemons family. I mean, we've been short for quite some time, since approximately 9:37 here in Unity. If it comes back to my break even, which it looks like it's going to momentarily, but I kind of want to re-engage here to see if we can kind of, I don't know if we're going to test the lows. You got to take into consideration that we're down 29, almost 30%, even more at these lows. So is there going to be a big time recovery here? So far, yeah, we're getting the V-shaped reversal across the board. I mean, Unity and in LYFT, that is. I haven't even looked at Tesla, NVDA. I haven't even looked at the mega cap names. I told you guys for a while now I haven't even been paying attention to the tech trade. I just think there's so many more opportunities and cleaner price action with less hands being involved. So if we get stopped out momentarily in both of these names, so be it. We got the nice legs down, and then the market's going to recover. So at that point, we just continue to remain patient. Oh, there it is, Unity. We're at a dodge there on Unity, couple pennies away. So a nice little trade for us there on U, down 28%. Once again, we're getting a nice rebound here in LYFT as well, guys, but a nice double up here on this position. We get to move into 1410s, considering, right, like you're not getting dollars or anything like that on LYFT. But we did happen to do so here on Unity. I wouldn't be surprised now that we're out here, it slowly starts to curl over. So I'll keep an eye out on that. The volume weighted average price, I think, is still going to come into play here. Any indecision above that indicator, then we'll look to rock and roll to the short side once again. So if it comes back to my break even on LYFT, we're at a dodge on that one. We were fortunate enough to participate on these lows. I thought we would head a little bit lower on Unity, but you have to take into consideration that you're down a substantial amount. Now, I guess considering where I was just talking about them, we may as well go over them right now and see what we got going on with the big boys here and how they are performing. I don't think it's going to be too good there, Sharif. Apple. I know I heard Apple's
doing well
Oppo.
today.
Yeah. Apple's going Oppo right now, 279 and change there, guys. Microsoft to the downside, starting to find a little bit of a bounce. 191 on NVDA, right? It sounded like the sky was falling, but we're up to $191 there. Amazon to the downside as well, too, guys. Keep an eye out on that one. Tesla was pretty strong this morning, I heard, and then sure enough gives up the majority of that move. So this is what I wanted to focus on. I had these necklines drawn. I'm like, oh man, this pre-market pump, not liking that. Probably going to lead to somewhat of an intraday sell, and now we're starting to experience that, or we have experienced that for sure. Palantir up to 134, down to 134, I should say. And then if we go across the board, what has my friend CrowdStrike been up to? Oh, down to 409. So I mean, Rich Tech Robotics is back down to $3. That's insane, right? I can hear Ram giggling back there.
So weird.
So there it is, man. Watch out for the neckline break. Higher time frame, this really might come into play. A high of $7. You're down 57% on Rich Tech Robotics. I'm glad I didn't have that one on my pick list there, Sharif. Applied Digital still hovering around the highs, not breaking down with the rest of the market. You're only a couple percentage points, or 13%, I guess you can say. But you're not seeing that like capitulatory type price action here in some of these names. Why do I have this? What's this mean, Sharif? Why does it have that on there?
What is that, Joey?
You see the caution sign?
No, brother, point it out.
You see right here.
Oh, that's Halt, brother.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh.
He doesn't trade the small caps.
Yeah.
That's why,
A $413 name on Halt parameters?
What's the ticker?
Cyber, SYBR.
SY?
Yeah.
YB.
Is that ETF?
No, it's Israeli. CIBR.
It's closed.
It's closed.
They're being bought.
They're being bought by Palo
I did know that. I did know that.
Okay, all
Piece
right.
of
Very
crap,
interesting.
Palo Alto.
Oh, panned up, catching some strays. But aside from that, guys, not too bad. You can see that we're all out of Unity, and it looks like we're going to get stopped out of LYFT here momentarily as the market is continuing its rebound.
There goes NCI into the day high. I got 64 on right now. We just printed 88s. It's an 89 high of the day. NCI is on that good stuff that is illegal on this side of the border. Let's set up a little bit in the mid 90s now. Let's see if we got continuation here into 2. NCI looking real good. I told y'all this was a buy zone from the 60s to the 50s. We did get bottom wick on this current candle, the low of which is 63. There we go. We got 64. It's not 63. I do apologize there. I lied. No, but we're looking for continuation. Currently, it's a double top, I believe. No, the prior bar is 88. This current bar is 89. So we did, albeit 1 penny. We did breach there. It goes into 90. It's got gas, right? Let's see if we can squeeze some of these shorts. They're running scared over here, these shorts at 88s, 89s. Are we going to get a pullback before we make it into 2? I'm posted in the mid-90s. There's 90, there's 92. Looking for continuation into the mid-90s. We're going to pack the patience, and maybe when we get back from Madera at the big desk, we'll have taken the print.
You just be aware here, Vertiv, VRT on watch company is just starting its earnings call here. They said they're going to be ceasing reporting quarterly orders, order forecasts or backlogs with their earnings calls. They also said that their pricing is expected to exceed inflation once again for fiscal 2026. So again, VRT earnings call just started. It's happening now. Back to you.
Yeah, that one is actually on watch. Today, we're going to look at it as a small cap gapper. It's up over 20%, but as I mentioned, it's a $240 name. So what I immediately saw here in VRT was the very, very clear, defensible, basically lower trend line over here. So it keeps catching off the lows. It's not a VWAP support area. You can see kind of VWAP, sometimes an important area, sometimes not. Specifically what I'm pointing to here, that 1010 time slot all the way until 1055, it was trading below the volume weighted average price. And moreover, it is still putting in those lower highs, unbroken ever since that topping tail candle, essentially the implied balance high at 935, the high of which is 249.95, so essentially 250. Let's see if it can, first of all, break this downtrend. Ideally, I'm looking for a move above that 243.5 just to take out this local area high. And by local area high, I'm talking about the 1055 candle, the high of which is 243.30. So if you get a print at 243.50, I think you may have broken trend and then head back up, but it could be a wild card, right? Because there is a call coming up. Back to NCI, dipping down now. We got some prints there in the 90. We didn't get 95. I moved down into 92, but it's bleeding its own blood right now. Down into 78. We have 64s. Prior bar low is as follows: 63. Prior bar low is 63. I have 64. So this is perfect. Oftentimes I end up putting on my stop below, just, around my entry, but the market doesn't give what about my entry. It cares about more technical support and resistance. But when you have current bar low, it really does help the matter. So, or prior bar low, pardon me. So zigging and zagging right now in the 70s, looking for a setup, not immediately getting it. Just before we send back to Joey, and I do see the super chat. Thank you, Zen. I want to mention, Yannick was telling me, look, Sharif, QV CGP is holding the VWAP. And I said, Yannick, brother, I'm going to need to see a little bit more. I want the trend break. And look at this one, bleeding down now, losing VWAP. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles in a row, in addition to a declining volume profile. However, the volume profile is jiving with the price action. They're both down and to the right. So this one's going to have to set up a lot better. There goes NCI, Joseph, into 203. We take out 99s there. That's a new high a day. That probably stopped out a lot of people when it dipped into the 70s. So be careful here. We're looking for move past 2 now, and we're going to get quite aggressive where we want it. We're going to put 208. We're going to look for a clear move above 2, and then we're going to look into the high teens, mid-20s. Joseph, options. Sorry, let me just go into this QNCX. Thank you, Zen, for this for the $2 super chat. He says QNCX still in it. Let's look. What do we got? Okay, so it's up 43.5% today. So that's the one that I've got up on my side chart. That's the one that we were trading yesterday. I articulated my opinion on this one. There's clearly a buyer at 65. In addition to the fact that 65 was that official area high yesterday. Now that area high broke into the aftermarket, specifically at 525, when this thing went about another 75% in the aftermarket. If you're wondering why, there are no volatility halt parameters in the aftermarket or in the pre-market. So small cap traders, AKA degens like myself, they love the pre-market. They love the aftermarket for exactly that reason. Now that works both ways, mind you, right? It works no volatility halts up or down. So you can get caught offside and lose a whole bunch of money super quick. You need to account for that. So I'm liking that 65 penny area, that 65 penny-ish, I want to say area. comes in, I'm a buyer there. Otherwise, brother, I'm looking for the break of the downtrend. You're still getting, you know, these lower highs. You're below VWAP clearly at the moment. So I need to see a trend, not a continuation. There goes NCI again, Joseph, into an area high, 207s. I'm waiting at 8s. So we didn't get the print, but the buyers are coming in. They're coming in fast and furious here. There's a monster seller at 202 that we can't shake, by the way, and dipping down now sub $2. But we keep making new highs on this one. So perhaps your entry into this one should be on a micro pullback. 3 showing up, 4 showing up. Not quite into 7 yet, Joey. So let's pack the patience.
Sounds good, man. We do a nice little rub there for some good luck. No, guys, I'm just looking at Google here from a daily, and I mean, we talk about trends being broken. Watch out. Did the SPY on the NFP? Did it hit new all-time highs? Let's pull that up here. Oh, maybe we opened up. Yeah, pretty close on the SPY. But yeah, guys, this is what I'm talking about. Google, right? When you're the big dog in the house, whatever you got going on, you have the best LLM. Google Cloud is an absolute monster. Waymo taking the autonomous vehicle sector by storm. You're still going to sell off a little bit, but this is a name that you most definitely want to get involved with on any form of pullback. I'm not saying grab it up right now. Full disclosure, this is my biggest mistake. I told you guys, but I rotated into Robinhood, which now hasn't been performing good whatsoever. Robinhood down substantially. And I'm just going through across the board on my watch list, like you're down 50%. That's not fun whatsoever. And it doesn't look like there's any stopping anytime soon. When do you want to re-engage? I told you guys, in my opinion, what I'm going to be doing is just essentially engaging onto IBIT now south of its IPO price, I'm pretty sure. And things aren't looking pretty optimistic, are not looking optimistic for Bitcoin right now. So it's going to take a lot longer for Bitcoin, that is, to turn around than what people are suspecting, in my opinion. Anyways, I could be totally wrong, and for the sake of multiple accounts, I hope that I am. But I'm looking at RGTI and some of these other names here, guys. They're down substantially. Like RGTI is down 70%. Like, oh my days, 72%. Like, that's not fun whatsoever. IonQ, who's supposed to be the big dog of the quantum space, right? Not good whatsoever, Sharif. You're down 59%. We'll call it 60 flat, just to pour a little more salt into the wounds there for all the quantum investors. That's battery. And then what else did we have on here that I wanted to look at? QUBT, how are you doing? I'm not doing very good, it says. And there it is, $25 down to $8. That's a 66% haircut right there. So if you are a believer in some of these spaces, hey, I mean, when there's blood in the streets, you know what they say, you want to grab a little bit here and there, so you don't want to go all in at once. But aside from that, guys, you know what time it is, Sharif. What time is it, brother?
It is time to look at the sectors.
It is. Hey. All right, man, let's see what we got going on for the top performing sectors. Oh, also, by the way, just in case if you were curious, the staples have been performing pretty good here today. Okay. All right, energy sector leading the way, up 2.4%. Consumer staples up 1 1/10, and then we have the industrials up 0.9%. The financials, the bottom of the barrel right now. What kind of tomfoolery is that? Communication service, guys, you're down 0.6, and then we have the consumer discretionary down approximately 0.6% as well, too. But what do we have after the bell today?
What we got, Joey?
Adara most definitely is going to be posting this on Trader TV Research, and this also might be a fan favorite of Adara as well, too. AppLovin reporting after the close today. We have Cisco, QuantumScape, HubSpot. And I think that's about it. Nebius is on Thursday before the open. What do we have on Thursday after the close, which might be a little more interesting, Sharif?
Yes, sir.
Coinbase, Pinterest, Arista, Rivian, Toast, a JB favorite. I'm sure he's long gone out of that. Applied Materials and DraftKings. Applied Materials have been on a monster run. Is that move still being sustained? Let's take a look right now. As you can still see, I'm in lift. We had that turnaround. As soon as I get out around my price target, my break even there, we slowly start to turn around in Unity. So maybe we can take a small leg lower, but we're going to be patient on that one. Going back, let's take a look at what AMAT's been up to. Are we still hovering around those highs? Absolutely. Oh man, what a run Applied Materials has been on, guys. This is a big-time move from September to where we're currently trading at 119%. That's a big-time move, and you tap in almost to a new all-time high in Applied Materials, guys. So that's what I got going on. You know we're just sitting on this position here in LYFT, approximately 20% remaining.
Bang, Joey. All right, it's a $2 rejection now. And now NCI is heading back down. VWAP at $1.69, $1.70, can't quite tell. That could be a buy area. However, we still haven't breached prior bar low, the low of which is 173, current bar low 175. So we're still holding higher lows and higher highs. In fact, we actually breached prior bar high in the current bar. I'm talking, of course, always about the 5-minute chart. So current bar high 209, prior bar high 207, but it does look like we may lose that 173 prior bar low. There is a buyer right now at 75, and he's defending that 75 penny area quite aggressively. Let's watch here as the price action continues to develop. New bar just opened up, so prior bar low now 175. We have a new bar on the 5, the 1125 bar now. But this one does feel like it might be headed back down. The only thing is I'm caught between two minds. Do I add into 169 for a VWAP hold? But it's still one of those situations where VWAP is higher than the 10 EMA on the 5. I always call it anomalous because it typically only happens when the price action develops really quickly, especially on the 5. But I don't like to buy at VWAP when VWAP is ahead of the 10 EMA, okay? I'm just telling you my personal opinion. I also see price action resistance at $1.40. That is substantially below the 170 VWAP and I want to say 161, 162, 10 EMA. So if it bleeds here and it loses VWAP, it loses the 10 EMA, it could find support at 140. It's not going to find a buyer in me there, though, because that will be a breach of my rules about buying below the volume weighted average price. So going to keep an eye out on that. Separately, I want to bring in some others that I kind of talked about in the beginning of the show and then said very little about. NKTR is a bit more expensive. It's 65 some odd dollars, but who can argue with this pattern here? Look at that clean double, triple bottom off the 10 EMA. You get another double bottom at 10.15 and 10.20 off the 10 EMA, and these are dollars, guys. That's a $63 entry and a $65.85 high, so essentially $66. It's quite good. I would say it was looking flat top breakish through 65, but I think maybe I'm grasping at straws when it comes to that. SNXX as well, looking real good, but this one could be in for a rude awakening if it can't shake that seller in the high 37s, because then it looks like it's going to set up as a double top. What I'd be looking for if you're short inclined is a neckline break. That neckline break comes at 34.5. So if this one bleeds, loses VWAP at around 35.10, 35.11, and then goes on to bleed even more below 35.5, I would say this is a short on SNXX, but you're going to have to wait for that to manifest. There goes NKTR into the high, taking out 65. It looks like it's on the way 67, 66, 64. The breakout is on it. We just finished talking about NKTR, man, and there it goes. This is looking really good here. And moreover, it looks like we had a bit of a chasm there in the volume bars at the bottom, but those are starting to make higher highs. So the volume is coming back in a little bit here on NKTR, so you needn't worry about that. That's all I have, man. QVCGP, I was really hoping to weasel into this one, but it is only finding here support at 5 and change. It's going to have to get above 575, 580, probably even 6 for me to get involved with this one, but I'm starting to see here there's a buyer at 75. That is 2 bars in a row now where the low is 75 on NCAA. So that 75 buyer, he is single-handedly keeping this above the $0.75. Is this a buy opportunity, man? Well, here's the deal. So if it is a buy opportunity, why don't I risk a couple of shekels? Here it is, right in. Okay, we're gonna get in here. There's that 75 buyer. He's out. I'm gone. There we go. We're gonna get.
See you later.
Right out. Exactly. Right out. So we got in it. We got out right away on NCAA. Actually, I didn't even get in, Joey.
Oh.
That's the joke's part about it. I didn't even get in, so I didn't even lose anything there. I thought I got in, but I didn't. So we ended up flattening out there, even for profit. Keep an eye here because we just got into VWAP. This did lose 75 pennies, though, so be on the lookout for a bit of a retracement on NCAA. NCI, excuse me.
NCAA, we like a little NCAA. My cousin plays NCAA hockey. Shout out to yeah, he's nasty. Yeah, he's nasty. He played in the Q as well, man.
Seriously?
The Q, yeah, JMHL or whatever. However you, yeah, he's
Hold
nasty.
on, let me ask a quick question. like prospects, are they foregoing the OHL and going to college instead now?
You're seeing a little bit more of a rotation, right? Like, yeah. You're seeing more kids come out of NCAA. Before it was just like the CHL, right?
CHL,
right? Like WHL boys, right? Like, yeah. So you're starting to see a lot of these kids go to the NCAA. Well, because essentially you're getting an education and you get to play high-level hockey, right?
Exactly. What
so free, and they make a couple dollars here and there. So, all right, guys, do we re-engage here on some Unity to the downside? One more pullback. We're gonna get involved in this one more time, guys. One more time. So yeah, let's make Gorb. Nice work there. I was just typing in the chat. Gorb, nice work there on Apple, brother. A nice long off of the volume-weighted average price. He says green day for my boy Stevenson as well too. That's exactly what we want to hear, my friend. Met at daily target and log out. The weather is nice in Atlanta. Hot Atlanta, baby. Atlanta might go for a run. Why would you just go and do it? You heard no, I have not heard the new J. Cole album, and I'm a little jealous that you can go for a run, my friend. I would love to be able to do that. But we were fortunate enough. Yeah, we still hitting the inside there, you know what I mean? We hit the upper body. All right, no, in all seriousness, guys, no, I'm not a J. Cole guy, to be honest with you. I heard it.
Is it called The Fall Off?
I don't know. Is it called The Fall Off?
Yeah, I think that isn't it right here? New release.
Maybe there it is. Bang, there you go. So Sharif's got some more gym material right there.
Download.
Me personally, man, I'm just on my cool vibes and stuff, R&B, listen to Hoser and some rock and roll. So yeah, that's what we got going on, guys. One more pullback in Unity. We're down 29 1/3 here. If we break through this 2080 level, then we have to kind of reassess the situation and maybe re-game plan to say, hey, we might not get that continuation to the downside just yet and be a little bit more patient. What has silver been up to today? That's a great question. Something that I've been trading quite frequently, have not even looked at today. Just hyper focus on the three names, right? Like lock in, get into that flow state, guys. And I find myself when I bounce around a little bit too much, me personally, when I bounce around a little bit too much, it's like, oh, what's this? There. I get it. You have those sessions, but if I just hyper focus, get in sync with the underlyings that I'm game planning for, I write it down. Like if you look at this is all essentially a bunch of gibberish. This is just me locking in and be like, hey, what's going on? How is the stock reacting? What is it? Like, there's not very many key levels in there. It's just like, what is it doing? Trading above VWAP. What is the daily telling us? And just getting ready to see how the price action is going to react in the intraday session. And it's like, no, go with the flow on today's session. Like, how obvious is that? Like, boom, genius, right, Joe? Go with the flow. Makes a lot of sense, right? I'm not discovering anything new over here. Just trying to hone in a little bit here and get in those flow states. What was I had about to? My poor ADHD brain, just all over the place. Shreve, $75, starting to slowly fill that gap and set on SLV with a high of around $78. Let's pull up the options chain here and see what we got going on. If there's any form of supply, I love that Brent from Spot Gammon was like, yeah, pointing out some of the same levels, whether it be on LYFT and Robinhood and everything that we were actually talking about earlier this morning. By the way, I post the upgrades and downgrades on X, and I post the options activity on X as well too. So go check out your boy at TraderTV Joseph. All right, now back to silver. Let's see what we got going on for any form of supply zone. Don't forget VIX OPEX. I like that he was bringing up the options expiration cycles as well too. This is 0 DTE, so we're not seeing anything. Let's go over to the 20th, right? Because this is where we're going to see a lot of the activity. And at that $76 mark, he would like to, he calls this, yeah, we got a lot of positive gamma on these calls here. I'm looking at them similar ways, but I just kind of phrase it differently, right? Like we got open interest supply zones at $78. That was where our high was. And look at this. What? Bang. This is where he'd be like, this is where the most positive gamma essentially is at that $80 mark, okay? 58,500. And why? Because look at the gamma exposure. Keep an eye on that with the most outstanding contracts right now. Silver is going to have a tough time. Oh.
What's wrong, Joey?
That's not bad. Let's do it right now. Strategy builder. So Sharif, essentially so this is me thinking out loud, okay? So what we have here is a massive supply zone, and we're gonna call this a call wall, all right? We're gonna do a crash course right now on how I would specifically look at this when I was really, really heavy into writing options. I see this. What do I want to do? I want to get involved with where all the activity is, okay? So if I have the ability to collect $190, approximately for this contract. And what I would do is I would bear call spread this. So you're collecting almost $100 on a bear call spread that expires next week. That is absolutely insane. Very rarely do you see that, and with a decrease in implied volatility. Last week we were talking about this name at 144%.
Wow.
It's still heightened. It's at 73.9% right now, okay? So keep that in mind, guys. Let's construct it right now, Sharif. Give us a couple, uno momento, mi amigo. Let's do a, where's our vertical spread, okay? So we're gonna head over, let's make this a little bit more wide, bang, and we wanna head a little bit lower in our options chain so we can get to that $80 strike price. So we're gonna sell this, and then we're gonna buy this. And what do we wanna do? We wanna look at our profile, okay?
Okay.
So that's pretty good. Where am I? I haven't pulled this up in a max return of $198 on this bear call spread, okay? So that's pretty good, guys. With your probability of profit sitting around 74%, now you're like, hey, Joe, your max loss is infinite. Absolutely. But you have a stop loss, and you want to implement that. You want to put that in your trades. But that's pretty good for a bear call spread, and that's on one contract combination, right? Like if you're selling 2 or 3 of those in a week span, that's not bad for passive income. I really like that bear call spread on silver for a hold below 80. Let's see how that works out, guys.
All right, guys. I'm keeping an eye here on NCI. It lost VWAP. It reclaimed it. It's still putting in lower highs, okay? So I'm reluctant to get back into anything here. Prior bar high is 179. We just opened up a new bar, the 1135 bar, the high of which is 175. So I'm looking for a trend change. This one probably stopped a lot of people out unless you were savvy enough to pick up the $0.50. I didn't because it's not an area of technical support that I had earmarked. I made very clear that I was looking at that 40 area. So exuberant were the buyers. They didn't allow that 40 area to manifest. In fact, the low of this green bar here was 48. So I was off. I was off a little bit. In any event, it's still making lower highs, and it's not going to have a trader in me at the moment, okay? I found a new one, though. Stimmies. S-T-I, yeah, remember the Stimmies?
Yeah, I know.
Well, yeah, because they came back hard asking for those Stimmies. They're still hunting my cousin down for that.
You were telling
like
me
4
about
years
that.
later, they're hunting him down.
Dude,
they wanted their money back.
But at one point, the CRA is like, hey, it's not worth going back for the people who...
I mean, I understand, bro. Like, you gave people... You gave them criteria for the Stimmies. A lot of people met the criteria, and then you want to change the qualifications ex post facto? Like,
but there's a lot of, like, businesses that took advantage of it, and it's just like, yo, guys are buying like Lambos and stuff.
Totally.
Money is crazy.
Anyway, Stim, STIM. This one had a big move in the aftermarket yesterday. I don't know if it was earnings or what, but it was a 430 breakout. From that 430 low to the, I want to say 5 o'clock high, we're up 54% last. We're still holding, I don't want to say we're holding yesterday's high. We're not. We're not even at yesterday's high, nor have we cleared yesterday's high. So it's 225 aftermarket high. Today, officially, it's a 210 high. It's putting in, you know, a good defense here at $2. Below that, we're looking at the 10 EM on the 5 at 196. So that's what I'm looking at. That's a new one, STIM. Keep your eye out on that one. But QV, CGP is looking like hotter and hotter garbage every new candle that opens up and develops. This is looking very, very flat bottom breakish through 5. Oh my days, this doesn't look good. Look at this. It straddles VWAP. It's straddling, I should say, VWAP from the south side. It's using VWAP, yeah. It's unbroken in the lower highs. It's also straddling VWAP south, and now it's kind of putting this sideways consolidation area just north of 5. So maybe, just maybe, we get back above that 575 and VWAP, or we lose 5, and we lose it quite aggressively. So this is still up, guys, 118%, despite the fact that it's $3+ off the highs. Gives you an idea how strong this one was earlier, but all good things do come to an end, and this is certainly one of them. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that. ASTI, by the way, the one we were talking about from yesterday, just dipped into the 10 EMA on the 5, lost it momentarily, held 70, and then moved up back into 86. Now, if my memory serves me right, ASTI was a spready bad boy yesterday, which did displease me at times because we'd be crossing and wouldn't be getting the print. but we're going to keep an eye out on this one in case it sets up in the right way. Moreover, I was talking about SNXX as a possible double top, right? It still may be double top, but what we're getting here is a 2-candle hold on the 10 EMA on the 5. What I personally would wait for is a breach of prior bar high, and that would have to be above 36.88. We're showing 36.58 now. So you would have two things here. You breach prior bar high, and you would hold the 10 EMA on the 5 for a possible 38 move. SNXX a bit more expensive, but definitely one to keep your eye out. We're going to pause for a second, Joe and I, and we're going to send it to Adair at the big desk with the crypto segment.
Let's take a look here at, we'll do crypto, of course. We're going to talk about Bitcoin, but I want to start by taking a look at Robinhood's crypto transaction revenue. So this is for Q3 2025. As you can see here, this was up 300% year over year for last quarter. Total revenue coming in at $268 million. Now let's compare that to Q4. Q4, we actually see a decline in cryptocurrency trading revenue of 38%, and also a sequential decline here, $221 million. So again, crypto revenue here dropped not just on a sequential basis, but also on a year-over-year basis here for HOOD. And I think obviously we're going to discuss this more during the news segment, but with crypto, we saw that Coinbase also traded lower on this report. I think now turning ahead to tomorrow when Coinbase reports, these crypto-related trading volumes and revenue are certainly going to be of interest. Now let's go over here to BTC, trying to hold on to 66,000 right now, but generally continuing to find resistance around that 72,400 level. We'll take a look at Ethereum as well. ETH, once again, continuing to mirror Bitcoin, though a little bit closer to its local low. Local low here for ETH around 1,730. BTC, local low would be just below 60,000 right now. Again, trading around 66,000. Let's see if it holds on to this level and if it can come back and reclaim 72,000. But if you take a look at the weekly chart here so far for BTC, we are at weekly lows. So obviously quite a far way to go from last week's low or last week's high from that matter. A little bit in no man's land if you go to that weekly chart. But again here for Bitcoin, looks like it needs to pick a direction right now because as of right now, with it being at current intra-week lows, right now it looks like it only wants to push lower. Back to you.
All right, Joey.
Yes, sir.
You got that super from your friend,
my boy.
Frederick.
Yeah, also
thank you very much,
Danny
Frederick,
boy.
by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Joe, maybe do a little research into the March standing for delivery orders on silver before you do any silver options contracts.
Why? Explain, Frederick. Tell us why you think that. You don't have to super again, but
you don't have to super again.
Yeah.
But the boy told us to do the research on March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
All right.
saying, hey man,
My
you
bad.
gotta listen to what Danny boy is saying sometimes and see what he's got going on. I mean, from an $80. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, you still have a week and a half until that expiration cycle. It doesn't mean you're going to be collecting all that data or anything along those lines. But if the volatility continues to drop, you can definitely make a little bit of change on that one. And that's a nice bear call spread. I like it 4 points away approximately from that specific strike. So if you do get a nice continuation here today, it's only going to increase the value on that. But that supply zone, I don't think by next. Well, we'll do a bet right here, Danny boy. What do you want to do? Well, no, we don't have to.
He's
do
pretty
a bet.
good at betting, man.
He's good. He's very good. He's very good.
No, I'm talking about you.
Oh, me? Yeah.
I would know.
Well, hey, man, it is what it is. You're hot, you're not, you're hot, you're not. I'm not. If I was really good at betting, then, things would be significantly different. I'd be on, dude, did I tell you I was checking out Polymarket the other day?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man.
It's not bad.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
It's better against better. There's no help.
Yeah.
I do like that.
It's pretty cool.
See what Vlad said yesterday on the call?
No.
He's like, there's going to be a prediction. He says there's going to be a prediction market super cycle.
Oh, yeah, probably, man. Like, Polymarket's starting to gain a little bit of ground. There's some ridiculous bets. Like, I have to read more on the rules and stuff like that, but it's like, will Jesus return in 2027? And it had like a dollar, like, it has like the most ridiculous things on there. I thought it was comical. It made me laugh. Like,
it is funny, bro.
Right? You know what I mean?
If you hit on that, you don't even have a chance to spend your money because he's back and it's over, bro.
It's back and it's over. So at that point,
fantastic.
No, it was pretty funny. But no, in all seriousness, guys, the volatility continuously cooling off there in silver. I like our chances for us a hold of 80. So let's keep a track of this, all right? So guys, hold me accountable. Let's see where silver closes by next Friday, all right? Above or below $80. It might climb up to there. All right, let's re-engage a little bit here on Unity. I like it. We're not going to hit a wrong hawk here or anything along those lines. Double top, failed to climb any higher, and then sure enough, maybe we can get that movie, make this move a little bit higher. We're going to go really small size here on this one. We don't want to give back too much today because it's been a pretty good setup or a pretty good good trading session for us thus far, Sharif.
All right, I got to shout out Zen Zombie. Thank you very much, Zen. He's asking about, I keep forgetting the ticker, JAG-U, right? I didn't miss it, brother. I swear I mentioned it to you in the chat, but I didn't talk about it out loud. Yeah, thank you, Assassino. I appreciate that, my man. Kind of you. So this, what's his name? Zen Zombie's asking about JAG-U, and I don't see anything, brother. The only thing is this, okay? Jaguar Uranium, US $25 million IPO, underscores value in green shift commodities. I can send you the link for this if you'd like. It's just talking about Jaguar Uranium completed its IPO, the capital raise of $25 million, issuing Jaguar shares at a price of $4 per share. There is really nothing here. I know this one opened up yesterday. I remember KC526 talking about it. It really bled its own blood the entire day. It opened up at $5.28. And then it never made a higher print. That's the first candle to open up there, and we know green can, oh, sorry, it opened up at, excuse me, the low there was $5. It opened up at $5, it got to $5.50, and then it never made any higher highs or higher lows. It continued to bleed. So I don't really have too much on this, other than, right, the volatility halt said it was talking about yesterday, and some information on the IPO. This is JAG-U, by the way, for anybody asking. A new IPO from yesterday. It's on the Amex exchange if you need to get to that. But both Andrea and Zen Zombie are talking about QNCX. So let's cut the crap. I made a mistake. I took this one off the side chart, right? Because I needed real estate on the side chart. I made a mistake, and now this one is making a move. It broke trend. It broke a prior area high. I'm talking about that candle on the 5 at 10.10, the high of which is 86.70. I'm talking about pennies, not dollars. And now, officially, it's 94.77 high. Last, we still have a 4 a.m. print that is 98 pennies. So let's see if we can clear that dollar. We couldn't yesterday, right? Aftermarket, pre-market, it didn't matter. We couldn't clear that dollar. But something tells me we may be attempting the dollar today. So I'm going to be all eyes now on QNCX, especially if it comes back down and wants to test that mid-80s area, even high 80s. I probably weasel in at the high 80s and then DCA into that area as well. What? Yeah. Well, dude, there's going to be a number on that.
There is.
There's going to be a number on that. Zoom in, Joey.
Crazy.
How many people will Donald Trump deport in 2025?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Like, bro,
hold on. That number.
So,
when are we going to get that data? Because we're a month and a half deep.
Yeah, very interesting. So like greater than 200 to 500, 250K to 500. It's not funny, but like this is stuff. Some of this stuff is absolutely look. There's that one there, Sharif. 2 million volume. Will Jesus Christ return before 2027? This is insane things that you can bet on. Like there's one that I seen. Will Elon tweet between X date, like a week date and stuff like that? So
you know this is all old stuff in England, right?
Is it?
Yes.
It's new?
Because you could bet on the color of the player's shoes, you know, whether he was going to jump on the field with his right foot or his left foot, what the first step was going to be. You could basically bet on everything, but it was you against the house.
But,
that's the difference here. It's you against
another individual. So
exactly.
this so what I was looking at this for was UFC, like because what happens in a UFC when it comes up with when you're watching a UFC fight, it says who's winning the fight, and if I know automatically right out of the gate, if I can see a discrepancy between the two fighters, it's just like boom, hit that trade, that trade or that bet. It's very interesting. Send a primary win. So this is poly market for those who were interesting. Like I mean, I heard Katina Man say this yesterday.
What do you say?
He's like, man, as soon as everybody loses all their money in the prediction markets, they'll head right back over to the stock market. Yeah, which is funny, right? Will anyone be charged over daycare fraud in Minnesota? Like this stuff is absolutely insane. And it's comical as well too. I just want to show you guys that.
1320 Wolf. I love it. Polymarket better have a Trader TV tilapia bet. Over or under on the tilapia of a day.
Times a week.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, times a week.
Get it, Randy.
So we should do that right now.
Do you like tilapia, Randy? He's going like this. So he's indifferent. You love seafood, but he's not a big fan of tilapia. Well, you know what? I gotta agree. I don't mind the tilapia. I eat everything that they bring here. I eat like 99% of the food. I rarely throw it out.
I don't know what that Filipino
You would have caught
stuff was,
hands at my house. growing up if you threw up food.
I thought you were saying, oh, me personally.
No, I'm not crazy enough to do that. But immediate hits growing up if you threw up food.
I was never a big waster, so it's Ryan O'Day, my boy, likes it as well too. So yeah,
does he?
He likes the poly market, and I know. As for tilapia, I'm really only a. You know what, man?
Yes, sir.
Being frank here, I heard cod is okay. Never had that. And what's another like popular one?
Tilapia. Aside from obviously salmon.
Salmon.
There's so many, bro.
One of my only favorite.
Have you ever had mahi?
No.
Ooh.
Actually, I was telling you, maybe I gotta try some of that in halibut and haddock as well too. Cod is fire, as a lot of people are saying. I mean
Flounder.
All right, let's get involved.
Yeah, man, the chat's coming in fast and furious.
Some quality names. We're gonna get out of this trade at the break of approximately 20.95 there on Unity. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Obviously, swordfish. Oh, I had shark though. I've had shark. Shark is pretty good.
Do you find it to be a little bit like greasy, a little bit fatty, or no?
Well, it was deep fried, right? For all my Trinidadians in there, bacon shark. I've had bake. It's like bake, so they bake the shark, like they deep fry the shark. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Not bad. All right, guys, I've weaseled into a QNCX trade. I don't think this is going to be a breakout. I'm looking at DCAing and building a position. There's generally a seller at 92. Here we go. We're coming up into 92, 91 and 2/3. Seller at 91 and 2/3. He got killed. They killed him, Joey. And now it's up into 92. And there it goes into 93. Let's go ahead and set up now at 95. And then we're going to set up at 97. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's see if we get a breakout or what the situation is. But the stimmies, it's moving again, man. I don't want to take off NCI for now. So what I'm going to do is put STIM over here. Stimmy. Into 210, dipping down into 2. There does seem to be a general buyer right around 2. Don't hold it on a strict sense. So I put my stop below 195. But there does seem to be a move here on STIM, dipping into 9. Let's see if we can kind of get. I'm going to get in here, and I'm going to put below 195. Simple as that. Let's just give this one the old college try to see if it holds up. And where do we get in? We got 2 on the dot, so we go 205 for the first wetting of the beak, and then we're going to go 208s, and then that by default will still be, a little bit south of that 210 high day. Back to QNCX, watching here for a 95 move. The high of the day is 94.77, so that 95 profit taker requires a high day breach. So let's see if we kind of get a move there or what the situation is. Ram saying bird's nest soup, though that's something. There goes QNCX. Joseph, it took out all my orders. I was pontificating that this one wasn't going to take out the high and it was going to dip in to, and that's why I had some DCAs. I was wrong again. And let's now put a move into 102. It is a 97.82 high. QNCX is on that good stuff. Let's see if it can take out $1. It couldn't take out $1 yesterday, right? We kept saying that. Couldn't take $1 in the aftermarket. Couldn't take $1 in regular trading hours. Let's see if we can get one today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's me. That's my cue. All right, guys. If it's my cue, you know what time it is over there as we slowly get to grind lower here in Unity, guys, to the downside. Double top up around this 2080 mark where we were in before. And let's see if we can get a break up the volume-weighted average price. We're starting to get somewhat of a bounce, guys. Once again, we're down 29% there. And it looks like LYFT is just moving sideways right now. So what I'm thinking, because I forget what we were short yesterday, I can pull that up right now and see, because considering we have the documentation, there was a lengthy consolidation, and then it took a drastic move to the downside. So what did we trade yesterday? Silver didn't work out for us. It was HIMS. Yes, HIMS continue the bleeding, and Oscar Health as well, too. So let's see if that's going to be the same narrative in LYFT, some sideways price action, and then the break of $14. This was the key neckline that I was looking at. You had that move, and if we zoom out a little bit, a strong move on that earnings report last night, and then you get to bleeding, and then now we're just consolidating. So is this just a matter of time before sellers step back in and push below 14? This is supply zone, right? So if that breaches, then maybe we're going to be fortunate enough to catch some new LODs on LYFT, but one step at a time, right? We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. but a nice curl over here in Unity. When I was looking at this name, I'm like, oh man, this can get really, really ugly considering $18. We didn't even tap into that level just yet. You have that pullback, and then now we're slowly starting to grind to the downside. I think this VWAP hold is going to be a key inflection point, that $20.40 mark. Let's head over to the higher time frame, the daily more or less, and see where we're currently sitting at. So this is what we want to do as well. We want to correlate what we have going on from a daily perspective and implement that into our intraday trading. If this wants to close as a hammer, which it looks like right now, then I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a break one more time of that $20.80 mark, okay? So $20.80. Why? Because buyers are slowly starting to step back in. Unity had a really, really rough time on January 30th. And we're nowhere even close to recovering. You're down 61% off of that previous peak, $52.08 roughly, and then now we're trading around $20.40 and slowly starting to break down. So let's go Unity to the downside, and that's what it has been. I went through a lot of my trades yesterday. Jose and I were talking a little bit. I sent him some code. Dude, so what I did is I sent him code from my old platform, and he's gonna try to implement that into something, not like necessarily P Pro, but like the API that they have over in the algo room. In the algo room.
Yeah, they were showing me that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to create this app for P8. I wanted to basically, because you know how prop floor trading, so much of it is based on defined risk.
Yeah.
Because you have to work within your shutdown. So I was gonna say, for example, say you wanted to get into Apple at $270.
Yeah.
You're down about, say, 2/3 of your shutdown.
Yeah.
You've got a couple of more, let's just say you want to risk $50 on the next trade.
Yeah.
Right? So you define, you say, okay, I want to get into Apple.
Yeah.
The price I'm looking for at, let's just say it's 270. I have this much I want to risk on the trade.
Yeah.
It gives you two variables, share size and stop loss placement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, the calculated fixed risk hockey.
Exactly, and they do have it there.
That's what I sent.
They do have it there, but it's more comprehensive than that. So if they wanted to give it to you, it's like they're way more than you need because they have such an intricate way of trading.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I loved about it. We don't want to go on too much about it, but it's like double-click chart. So it's like, say we're trading at 2045 here on Unity. I want my stop loss, and I only want to risk $20 on that trade. And this being my stop loss, it'll calculate the amount of shares with a $20 stop from point A to point B, essentially with like a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio or something along those lines. So yeah, good stuff that you can implement. Spyro, are you buying anything in your long-term account at the moment or waiting for the market? I told you guys, and I said it sarcastically, even though it's not that funny, I'm sitting on like 2% cash. Like I'm in it for the ride now. Like I reduced my Bitcoin exposure a while ago. I cut that in half, and then I allocated some other things as well too, like some Meta, some more NVDA, and everything along those lines. But I'm literally sitting on 2% cash, guys. So it's not very much whatsoever. Hey Joe, any way I can send you a message with a picture? Discord X. Yeah,
ComputerNet. That's Ivan.
ComputerNet. Who's Ivan? You know
His
Ivan?
name is Ivan. Yeah.
Is that Ivan? Yeah, you can check me out at @TraderTV Joseph. You can send me a message on the DM. I'll keep an eye out for it if it's for Sharif and I. So Drizzy Jack, you and Sharif, men's double luge. What do you think? LOL. Is the luge
double
the thing?
luge,
The thing?
It's like the.
It's the Oh yeah. But at least we medal. At least I think.
Oh wow. Yeah. All right, you got to heal up first, my boy. We medal, man. Are you fast?
I'd like to think I'm pretty fast. I was pretty fast.
Yeah.
I was pretty fast. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm quick too. I think
That's
quick
what I'm
and
saying.
quick and fast. I think are a little bit different.
I know you got hand speed. I seen the hand speed.
Yeah. Hand speed's there. The leg speed was there.
That's what I'm asking. Yeah.
And I think I had the gas tank as well. I think which is really important.
That's important.
Jobs report cooked. What's your move today? Fade the pot, man. We had it written down, Fabian. We had it written down, Fabian, right there. I know you guys could all see that clearly.
All right, Exotic Trades, 199 super chat. Thank you very much, Exotic Trades. Thoughts on Amazon swing? Let's take a look at the Zon. They had a couple of headlines today. They're not the biggest market moving. They're both on the morning note. I put both headlines on there. They're the first two, essentially. So you want to go have a read? Oh, no, Amazon's bleeding down into, okay. So I'd say you're buying at 2, right? You're buying at 200. Even though we've been below 200 as of late, of course, there was this earnings day sell-off that got into 196.62. That is the area low. It doesn't look good because you pop off, right, after earnings, you have a green day, which is completely engulfed, and then you're dropping right back down again. So I don't like this, but I want to see if that $200 area, we used to call that the Bezos shelf, shout out to Neil, ends up holding. You know, we know it didn't hold for earnings, but you know, earnings can be quite volatile, so I don't want to put too much stock into that. I want to see if 200 holds. If 200 doesn't hold, you're probably in some trouble, okay? You're probably in some trouble because you're likely going to dip down into 190. There's likely resistance here, former area of support at 190. And then if you bleed that, you're looking a lot lower. I would say 160 to 170. And then nobody wants to see that, right? Because that's going to have a major market correction, I think. I don't think it would be a secular move on its own. So I like Amazon. I mean, who doesn't like Amazon? But the price has to be right. $200 entry. And this is not financial advice, by the way. $200 entry, and it's close, and I'd give it $10. If it lost 190, I'd be out. That's just my opinion there, but I've never swung Amazon, by the way, just full disclosure. Thank you for the super chat. Anu Drug. Anu Drug? Did you change your name, Anurag, to Anu Drug? I like you. You guys should do a 2-man bobsled because you guys got leg muscles. Yeah, man, it'd be fun. It'd be fun. But your boy Joey Option, I think we can do some other stuff live there. It doesn't have to be winter sport related, right? We can do other things. Great answer on the 2-man. Shout out to South Jersey Jack. That's my man right there. What is Ram saying? I never know what she's doing back there.
Yeah, me neither. Mr. Leahy, it is. Trust me, I've seen it. Oh, Mr. Leahy said he's not convinced that what I have on my notepad here is Taylor Swift lyrics.
Why? He's not convinced that it is Taylor Swift, or he's convinced that it is?
He thinks that it is Taylor Swift lyrics.
Taylor
the thing
Swift.
is, though, I'm not sharp enough to remember a Taylor Swift song, so I was going to pretend to be reading and sing a Taylor Swift song, but I don't know any, so...
You don't know any Taylor Swift songs?
No, I'm trying to think of one. What's the most popular one?
I don't know.
Shake It Off.
Yeah,
Shake it. Yeah, shake it. There it is. Shake It Off.
My niece loves Taylor Swift.
Eh?
She went to Germany with my sister to watch her there, and she went to SoFi to watch her. So,
Jeez.
Yeah, I know my sister, my poor sister. All right, guys, it is that time of the day. 12:01. That means you're going up to the big desk happening now with the Dara, and then Neil. He's going to pontificate like he typically does at noon. And I put my listening ears on, baby, because he's
Zachary,
wisdom embodied.
Yeah. All right. What time is it? 12:01. We're going to go to there. Zachary, I've seen you put the same thing in the chat about 30 times. I will get to you, I promise.
MB is open, apparently.
What's happening now is a lot of chop on the S&P 500. As you can see, 15-minute chart, we've been trading within this 693 halves range to a low of around 961, 60. Sorry, so this is going to be, 691. So 693 halves, 691 halves is about a 2-point range on the SPY. We've been like this for most of the morning. It looks like, at least later in the morning. Let's talk about the economic data we got before the market that really moved the market to the upside, at least in the pre-market. We had NFPs coming out 130,000, well above forecast of 65,000. Unemployment rate 4.3%, below the forecast here of 4.4%. The market like this, but it does mean that the chances of a rate cut are continuing to dwindle, especially for March and April. Fed Schmidt also commenting he's been hawkish and he remained hawkish with the comments that he made today starting at around 10 a.m. saying that he does not see the need for a rate cut right now. He thinks that rates should remain in place with inflation at roughly 3%. 4 p.m. Keep an eye here on President Donald Trump and his Champion of Coal event. We know that yesterday, U.S. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said they're going to be having a event for coal. BTU actually moved a little bit on that story, so keep an eye on that 4 p.m. coal event. Currently, he's set to be speaking with Netanyahu of Israel. I haven't heard any comments from that. I believe it was a closed press event, and I haven't seen any evidence that it wasn't. Tons of earnings tonight yesterday after the bell and this morning. Tons of earnings content on Robinhood coming out throughout the day on X at TTV Research, so definitely stay tuned for that. I have at least 3 infographics on Robinhood being released over the next 2 hours. But in the meantime, let's talk about LYFT, LYFT, one of the many earnings names I'd watch. Gross bookings continuing to grow nicely year over year. and obviously sequentially, but revenue struggling a little bit to maintain that strong growth. Now we'll talk here about AppLovin, which is reporting after the bell alongside Cisco. AppLovin, of course, we just had that short seller Capital Watch retract parts of their short report, which led to a big move for the stock on Monday. We're going to have to wait and see, though, if the fundamentals back up that move. $1.6 billion in revenue for the relatively new S&P 500 edition. That's what analysts are looking for. They're also looking for earnings of $2.89 per share. So lots of course, on watch, whether it's Coal, Robinhood, LYFT, Shopify, or any number of other stocks. But you know what's on watch right now? It's Neil, who will be giving us the lesson of the day. So Neil, take it away.
Thank you very much, Adara. And before I do this, I'm going to get to the lesson in a second. I cleared with Sharif what I'm about to tell you, because what's interesting is I use the word pontificate myself a lot. I know we all do around here. I had no idea what it exactly meant. I was like, first, I just decided to look it up. And like, lo and behold, to express one's opinions in a way considered annoyingly pompous and dogmatic. Anybody, like, I use it in not a negative connotation at all. Like, who knew that? That it's actually quite a negative word. Like, it means someone's being all preachy and stuff. Really? But you know what? Sometimes that's what it's all about. Here we preach discipline. Here we preach patience. It all comes down to a concept called risk management. You'll hear that gets said oftentimes on the show. Traders should consider themselves a risk manager. And the tried and true, and what usually people mean when they say risk manager, because we're talking about definitions, right? What do we usually think of when you're a risk manager? Control your losses. Where are you getting out of a trade? Where are you covering? Where are you admitting that you're wrong in a trade? But you know what? Risk management isn't just that. Risk management can also mean controlling where you get into a trade. Because oftentimes, like, a thesis will start because maybe you got a big support level you want to buy in front of, you want to fade, you want to short something in front of a big resistance level. So you have this target area where, okay, past this, I think I am wrong because I'm trying to buy the bid. And the other side is, I'm controlling the offer, so I'm going to short in front of it. Where you actually get in and then how you do so, that's also part of risk management. And I'll just sort of give you an example. Like, the example would be here on Intel. Like, I had on my note this morning, okay, I like 47 to 48.5. Past 48, I like the fail 50 short, right? So I'm coming in, I'm thinking 47 is a key price level, whatever. We just ramp to the upside immediately. But then I'm thinking the 48.5, this pivot area here, kind of the morning low, yet the prior day, and then the late morning resistance. So obviously, it's way past along, so I'm looking for short entries. I think I'm pretty tight to the top. I get wicked out, keep it pretty tight to the top again. So I don't do anything out of bounds. I wait till the price where I'm executing. But here's where it gets tricky, because obviously it was a gigantic short, but if my thought was a fail 50 short, look at what's happening when it's failing 50. Like, look at this fail of 50. Goes all the way almost into 51. At the open the next day, go almost all the way past 51 before pulling back into 49. If you look at it this day, it actually presses into 51 and then holds 50. This day, it just doesn't even give you a test, but even still, this top is still 50.5. So really, if I'm thinking this is just a short in front of the 50 level, well, I could have been short anywhere, and it would have worked out. Anywhere. I could have been like, I'm short in front of 50. That's my conviction. I could have been short the second it started getting in front of 49. And ultimately, it would have worked out, and it would have even followed through risk to reward. Because even if I short it and somehow get myself an average price of 49.5, and then say it holds on to some area up here, maybe a risk like less than $1, it does eventually go $2. But I don't know that that's going to be the case. That's sort of the idea, is if my plan of action is to wait for my level where I know I'm wrong, I really need to let it get down or get up there, or find a different execution strategy which allows me a good risk reward. And I admitted that I completely missed this one for the trend break. But then that applies to the long as well. If my idea is that I'm wrong if it loses the prior day low, that's why I liked 47 in the first place. Well, it's like, let it drift down there and then show a reason to buy in front of that price. Because the alternative would be just saying, okay, well, it's going to hold on to this level. Like, it's going to hold on to 40. It's going to hold on to the prior day low. I can start getting long when it breaks underneath here. right? If I like it, you could like it, 47.8, that was a key price level. And if you take this all the way through, it's about $1 worth of range. You could end up with a 47.3 average price, let's just say, and then VWAP gets 70 cents there, you're risking 50 cents to the downside. So you're actually better than 1-to-1 if you just start getting in all the way through. The problem with that for myself, why I don't like it as a risk management strategy, is you then end up with a situation where when you start getting into it in here, it works the best when it doesn't even, when it's so strong that it doesn't challenge the low. You're gonna end up with like your best situation when you don't have the full boat. But if it gets to the bottom, you're gonna be all in with the widest possible stop. That's where I never like it as a risk to reward strategy. And you'll see me oftentimes ideally get into a position where I'm not freaking out, because risk management isn't just about where you're getting out, it's where you're getting in as well. And if you get into a position in a comfortable area where it's like, okay, well, I'm in at 47, this is Intel. Intel just traveled $2.50, and my risk is 25 cents on the trade, and I'm at a level where there's some conviction, and I have a nice clear area where I want to get it out. Like, that is so binary and structured. Like, to me, it's like calling on the button when I'm sitting there with a strong enough hand in poker. Like, I don't care about at that point, it's like, whatever. You'll get all your chips in when you're 2-to-1, like that kind of a thing. Like, you don't see people get freaked out about that because of the level of preparation and patience that you have around that level. So I want to get people past, and the idea of this really, is we're all trying to learn and grow, is to get past that notion that it's really just about where you're stopping out, that risk management ends there. Where's my stop out? As long as I get out where my stop out is, then I'm a good risk manager. That's not all of it. Part of it is also making sure you have an entry that makes sense relative to where your stop out is going to be. And then take that action. Like I say it all the time. I hope that my executions at the end of the day look boring, right? Like 3 out of the last 4 days, I've been trading EA Sports. I didn't trade it yesterday. Just mean reversions on this thing. Sometimes mean reversion short, sometimes mean reversion long. Today it trends down, it double bottoms, I take a shot and I play it back into VWAP. I'm literally turned green on this, on the day. It's just like one trade. And the thing about it, where you can be like really, really patient with it, is you know what you're looking for. I'm looking for a trend break, and it helps that it double bottomed here. Right, like a double bottom allows me to get in right closer to the low as opposed to taking a breakout, right? Like save myself that 10 cents. That's gonna add up over time. And so think of risk management also too about being precise about your entries. If there's one thing that I hope anybody takes away from myself, I appreciate when people say you're calm and this and that. It really just comes down to being precise with entries, because I get angry with myself when I am imprecise with entries. One of my best trades this morning was BMNR. And I wasn't happy with my execution on BMNR, because one thing I didn't like is my short was to look for it underneath the 20 level if I couldn't see that high. Well, what happens? I couldn't get filled in here, so I end up taking half at a bad price and then actually get the better position up here. But see where the problem lies by doing that? I still end up with kind of the price that I want, but when I'm taking this fill up here and then remembering the chop there, that leads me to taking an exit that I don't like. Why? Because instead of just having a patented one entry like I usually do, I take two. I effectively get the price I want, but that still makes me scalp out some that I wouldn't normally do. So instead, I could be holding this out for somewhere in this range, get yourself an extra 25, 30 cents, whatever it might be. It's about precision sometimes. Just finding that one entry place, if you can, is another good way to refine your trading, another good way to be a better risk manager so that you're not all over the place. Good luck with your trades. I think that IPO is not open yet, that NWH, but it is actually ticking higher. The indicative open is now $30. It was $28 for a while. The issue was $25. Indicative open saying $30.10. So this one actually looks like it wants to open up a little bit higher. And thank you for, can someone ask Neil where he got his glasses? Off Amazon. So look, man, my eye doctor was like, I was getting headaches, and we stare at screens all day long, and we have these lights in front of us, and I sort of complained about it. I see my eye doctor once a year. Got to make sure you keep the eyesight in check. And the suggestion was, well, do you ever wear blue light glasses? I said, yeah, I do. I wear them in the evenings before I go to sleep. And does it help with your sleep? I'm like, yes, it does. We're like, why don't you wear them sometimes at work, and it'll make it less harsh? So I just bought the cheapest pair I could find on Amazon, because it really doesn't matter. They're all pretty effective. It's all the same thing. If you pay a bunch for them, to me, you're just throwing away money, and I hate throwing away money. That's not how I roll. I'm that kind of guy. Like, I'm not paying for name brand crap if I don't have to. Does it get the job done? It gets the job done. I can put that money in the market. I could spend it on my daughter. I'll spoil my daughter, and I'll buy Lego. And don't get me wrong, I'll spend money on things. Like, I have season tickets to the Jays, man. I was going to World Series games and not selling them. So you spend money where you really enjoy it. But I do believe for something functional and utility, just find a good sturdy pair. And it really does help. I get less headaches. I wear it during the middle of the day and when I'm doing my pre-market prep. I don't wear it during the show. I actually find that some of the stuff on the level 2 gets blurred a little bit. So when things are moving, I like to take them off. But yeah, they're effective, and I think you just find whatever works for you, and they become part of my plan. So hopefully that answers your question. I actually don't remember the name of the brand. I can just tell you they were on Amazon. I can dig for it, and if I find it, I'll throw it into the chat. I haven't had the tilapia yet. But it's whatever. We get some noodles with it as well. But it is a teriyaki, which is pretty good. I'll let you guys know how that went and send you on back to Sharif and Joe. And also, in about 45 minutes, you guys will be joined by Luis. So that should be fun.
Can't wait for that, because there's a whole lot, Neil, in the world of small cap gappers that are setting up short that I'm sure Luis is going to have his eyes on. QQV, CGP, chief among them. Looking like absolute hottest of garbage. And it did flat bottom break. It did lose 5 in the exact way that we were talking about. Look at that shelf. And it was using VWAP as resistance as opposed to support. And it was using 5-ish as support, which completely makes sense to me, right? Whole dollar level. And then this candle brought hell for the longs, losing $5 all the way down to 429. It's right back down now, right back into 445. So QV, CGP, definitely one of those ones you should be looking at if you're a small cap gapper inclined to the short side. I aspire to be like that one day, and hopefully, the sessions with Luis as well as some other changes around here, we'll be able to do it hopefully sooner rather than later. Now, I wanna get to something I just did. I'm not proud of it, but I did trade SanDisk. And the only reason I traded SNDK is because I tried to trade SNXX, which is an ETF, a leveraged ETF, and it wasn't letting me in, so it means that it doesn't do enough volume on our system, so we have to obviously exercise risk management, the back end office does. And so I got into SNDK, and it ended up being one of my better trades in a while. So kind of happy about that. We took like several dollars with some good moves there. So we're going to keep an eye out on that. But we're involved in here in QNCX. There's a whole lot of buying in and around 85 to 84. I've wet the beak multiple times, but we haven't got continuation back into the 90s quite yet. So I'm trying to pack my patience here in the same way that I'm trying to pack my patience with STIM. STIM seems to have buyers at 2. However, it's suffering from the affliction that many of these stocks suffer from. And, it seems to be a bit of a damper for the longs, which is the lower high setup. So really can't shake 205, let alone the prior area high, which is 207.5, high day 210. But there is buying at 2, right? I mean, don't put your stop right below 2. Never financial advice, by the way. But don't put your stop right below 2 because you get more prone to stop hunts. And especially if this one's pretty liquid, and for the most part it is, there's going to be breaches of these key levels, and then it retraces right back above. So be strategic about where you place your stop. I put it below this bar low, 1140, the low of which is 196.5. So I put it right around there. Let's see what comes of this. I'm trying to pack the patience here on STIM. But the OG, what's his name? Jaguar or something or another. Let me just call him out. Yeah, Jag Guzman, 2656. Thank you, Jag. I think you're the one that actually talked to me about, what's that other one called? QNCX, the one that we were just talking about yesterday. So I think it was you who called it out. He called out DXST. Nice move, up 40-some-odd%, again, south of $1. It's zigging and zagging a little above VWAP, a little bit below. Looks like the bottoming tail candle there found support right at the 10 EMA on the 5. However, it is also putting in lower highs. So let's see what DXST has to offer. It's a trade de novo. It really only started doing volume at 12 o'clock. That 12 o'clock candle, by the way, has a little bit less than 2 million shares. This big boy candle at 12:05 has got 5.8 million shares. So there is ample liquidity on DXST, and that means typically the spreads will be tight and you will be able to get filled, hopefully, without problem. NCI is... This is undecided. I'm not taking it off on the side chart at the moment, despite the fact that it's been below VWAP since losing at 1135. But as you can see, it's doing its darndest here to try to reclaim the volume weighted average price, which is at 166 exactly. I'm trying to see, who knows? There is an inkling here of some higher lows. So if that is the case, if buyers are picking this up at higher and higher levels on every incremental downturn, then we could see a reclaiming of VWAP and a move past that 175 area, which is a local area high, having been printed at 1155. So NCI, I'm reluctant to take this off the side chart because I feel it may have more to offer in terms of a long, that is. But I'm going to pack the patience here. I'm not going to jump into this one too quickly. Other than that, Joey, we're going to keep, we're going to stay in the positions that we got on right now, QNCX and STIM.
All right, man. Yeah, so where's this guy?
We got supers.
Yeah, we got supers. We're going to go over that momentarily. Zachary Delia. Yeah, man, you might just have, I think, at this point, you're not going to gain any value, right? They expire next week. I don't know when you bought them. You probably lost the majority. If you're down 80%, the extrinsic value is gone from those things there. So, I mean, your best bet would be writing a little bit and see if you can collect some premium or something along those lines. Unity, we got that move down to 2020, right? And then it just bounced right back up. And I'm like, what the hell? As we were gone, I'm like, I should have took a little bit off here, shoulda, coulda, woulda. And then I just got out, and then it got that strong pop past that 2080 mark where we said we were going to get out. So, small loss there on Unity. Ain't nothing but a thing, man. Ain't nothing but a chicken wing. All right, let's go over some of these super chats here. Zen Zombie. 5 smackers from our guy over here. We're going to hit this one right there. I was skeptical about you guys at the beginning of last year, but I've grown to enjoy you guys, so I try to and watch almost every day.
My man.
I appreciate it, my man.
We appreciate you, and the honesty is even more
exactly.
refreshing.
You could say, what should we hit there on that one for him?
I don't know,
We'll hit the siren, man, just because we don't got anything else really nice. Thank you, Zen Zombie, very much for that. I hope you can enjoy the show. Hey, listen, it's just Sharif, all of us here across the board. Not everyone's journey is the same, but what we can do is come together as a group and just kind of work together and try to navigate these markets. It's not easy at times, and we know that it can be lonely, especially when you're sitting at home all by yourself. Come join us. That's how I found this channel. That's how the majority of us found this channel. Sharif, other traders on the floor as well, too, just started watching Trader TV, and that's the rest is history from that point.
I remember exactly the moment. I was watching, Neil was on, and then he threw it to Sean. The lighting was entirely different, and Sean was trading Neil at $30-something. That's
crazy.
Okay, Where is it? It's like $5.
Yeah.
So I remember, and then Sean was losing it, bro. He's like just backing the Neil. He was spinning the money, and I was hooked immediately. I'm like, who is this guy?
That's what I said. I'm like, who is this guy? I'm like, all right, but so we started watching. So thank you very much for that, Zen Zombie. And then we have one more as well, too, Sharif. Amazon, Gorev, I know you're in on Amazon once again. We got another super chat here. What just happened to it? How do we feel about Wrecker Sync? No, we're going to go over something first here. We'll go over here. Joe, it's feeling 22. Is that a Taylor Swift song? There's your Taylor Swift song. Hope you guys are having a great day. Joe, go get your wife in Las Vegas, man. I'm good,
Taylor
man.
Swift in Vegas?
I don't know, but I'm good. I'm good. I don't necessarily need to find a wife in Vegas or anything. Probably be one of the last places I go looking for.
Agree.
That in Miami, I would probably suggest, and I was going to say something else, but that would be an absolute blow to, you know what, should I just say it?
You're going to say it, Joey.
I'm not going to say it.
He's not going to say it?
I'm not going to say it. No, I'm not going to say it. It's crazy. I'll put it this way. Any major metropolitan might find yourself a little bit of trouble. That's me, man. That's
I believe that. Trust me, bro.
You know
I can believe that.
We'll leave it at that. Live, we'll go back to the live chat. We have one more there. Oh, Jody throwing out some hearts. All right, Jody, thank you very much for the would you hit one there? Some money on the money. Good one there. Fan funding. How do we feel about REKR? Record. Record says 8. We can take a look at it and see what we got going on from a daily perspective. I do not hold on to REKR or anything along those lines. Systems, this is Sharif's World, 85 cents on this bad boy for sure. What's the daily looking like?
This is actually getting wrecked.
Yeah, it's actually getting destroyed. Yeah, record is getting wrecked down 75% there. We're not about catching falling knives. We're about breaking trends and waiting for participants to step on the other side of things. When things turn around, price action will display itself and you'll be able to find an opportunity in that way. All right, so there goes Unity slowly starting to curl back over, but we're not going to engage in this again. I mean, we've had a solid down and we don't want to give back too much. We're still sitting in this lift, only a couple pennies in the money at this point, 10 cents. But we've been sitting in this trade all day, essentially, waiting for a break of that $14 mark. And if it really starts to head in that direction, then I think there's going to be an add opportunity. But right now, we have to be prepared to sit in some sideways chop, right? Like, this is what's been going on. It's kind of the narrative of some of these names. Is this thing on the Nasdaq? Like, I don't even know what I'm trading here. So, yeah, there it is, guys. We're short from this mark. We added up onto this position, and then now we've just been sitting in this steady, slow grind sideways. We were fortunate enough to get part of that downtrend here, but now we're just moving sideways, looking for a break of these key support levels around 1420. That's my big. What's up, say man, woman? So there it is, 1420, and then if we can start to head a little bit lower and get past the supply zone, I think we can head into that $14 mark. But first things first, we need to break down.
Break it down. All right, watching DXST. There it goes through 28, looking for continuation. It's about half a penny off the day high, 63% in the Ville of Green. Let's see if it can take out that level. I'm waiting at 29s and then 30s. So we're packing the patience, and there goes STIM into the day's high. I'm very happy I packed the patience there. Into 12 it goes. We got 2 on. Just wet the beak at 212, 213 high. We go up to 15s now. And then we're going to go up to 19 for possible resistance at 20 pennies. Keep your eye on this one. And there goes DXST again. I don't know how I didn't get that print. That's crazy. It went up to 3105. I had a beak wetter at 30. That bothers me. Anyway, looking for continuation on this. Let's wet the beak here because we didn't get the print there. So DXST right back into the 29.25. Looking for that 30 penny break. 29.5 now showing up. Packing the patience over here. Up 70%. Good velocity into the area high. But we know there's a 30 penny seller of note. And there was also an area of illiquidity. I had it posted there. Probably not first in priority, obviously, because I just put up the order a few minutes ago. But there shows you a huge area of illiquidity. Now, this is turning into a topping tail candle. This could be trouble. All right, so what is prior bar low? Well, it's very south of here. It's at 25.25, a little bit higher than 25.25. Current bar low is essentially 28. In fact, it is 28 on the dot. Let's see if the buyers are stepping in at 28. They're not. Okay, right back up above 28 it goes. Bled into the mid-27s there. Here comes 29 again. I'm just trying to figure out where I should be moving up my stop. I think 27. I'm going to go 26.5. I'm going to move up my stop to 26.5 because this one is showing a whole bunch of resistance here at that 30 penny level. Moreover, I see 27 as a possible previous area of support. So if it's a previous area of support, I'm looking at it to be previous area of resistance. I'm looking for it to be an area of support now. Also watching QNCX. This has a 98 penny high, and we have 86s on. Here comes 89. It's had a lot of trouble at 88, let alone 90. But it's doing that curl up, right? Where it starts to kind of round the shape, and it shows you higher lows, not necessarily, big difference in higher highs, but a very noticeable higher low pattern. So I want to take that rounding shape, possibly squeeze up into the mid-90s. If I'm really lucky, then $1, especially if a big buyer comes in over here. So QNCX, very much focused on this one. So we got a couple of trades on right now. They're all looking good, but we're looking for continuation, especially on DXST. I'm not going to allow it to go below that 26.5. I will stop out, but I did wet the beak there, so pleased. Also, I want to bring to your attention a new IPO on the day. Thank you, Neil, for pointing this one out. I did not know about this. Let's take a look at this one and see what to expect. This is on the NYSE. It's on the NYSE? No, it's not. It's on the Nasdaq, pardon me. So MWH, currently showing a tap of $30. We're going to load up the details on this one, MWH, in a second. But first and foremost, we want to get to the imbalance locator and change from New York to NASDAQ, apply, OK. And then we want to sort by, you can sort by, let's see paired volume. We'll try that one first. MWH, right there, it's a buy side imbalance of 380,000 shares with a paired volume of 1.52 million. So keeping in, this is not bad. This is not bad. Now we need to see some more details. What was the IPO price? I need more information, please. Let's see. Okay, San Diego provider of infrastructure to power utility late Tuesday said it's selling 20.5 million shares at $25 a pop in the IPO, compared with an expected price of 22 to 25. Okay, so number one, it sells towards the higher end of the range. It was 22 to 25. That was the range. Moreover, it's showing you 30 already on the top. So now that we have that baseline established, we can kind of see whether or not we want to jump into this trade. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. It's M as in Mary, WH on the NQ, and there it is with a buy-side imbalance of about 354,000 shares, with the exchange already having paired 1.54 million shares. All right. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Haven't got stopped out of DXST quite yet. Despite the ugly topping tail candle, that means there's a buyer here at 27 of note. The QNCX trade, I expected this one to have resistance at 90, but it's still putting in the shape that I like, so I'm going to pack the patience. And STIMI, STIM, coming right back down into that 205 breakout area, but we did wet the beak. I'm going to pack my patience, see if this one finds support at 204. That's where the 10 EM on the 5 is. So that's what I'm looking at there, Joey.
Good stuff. All right, yeah, guys, I mean, it's been relatively cool here for us, guys. You know that we try to sit in these positions as long as we possibly can. Nice move down on LYFT. Hate going over the same name. Some people are saying, like, silver. So who said, do Jason do? He's like, hey, or Jason do or whatever your name may be. Obviously, don't mean to butcher it or anything along those lines. He's like, yeah, the price action is clean. To me, this is everything but clean, if you ask me. Up, down, up, down, up, down, and around here in silver, and that's why I haven't been paying attention to it. Like, if we go back into my notes, I was trading silver for quite some time when it was in play. I just don't feel that's necessarily the case right now, and LYFT looks like it wants to continue. It's a little bit of a move higher. LYFT, you can see this trend line holding up, guys. We didn't get the breach of that or anything along those lines. I do feel that there's one more opportunity to engage here in Unity, but I don't want to just continuously try to milk a stone or beat a dead horse, as they say. It is relatively weak, but I'm just trying to correlate everything with a call put. Okay. I'm just trying to correlate it with the daily, and what I was talking about earlier is just in the fact that it wants to close as somewhat of a hammer candle here. So that means buyers are going to be stepping in at some point and may not push price back down. So keep an eye out on those specific levels. But Unity, right back to my previous entry price, and then now slowly starting to curl over. So, I mean, a third time may be a charm. Anyone that had been here knows Joe trades BTC and silver like he skates in the rink. Oh. Bad. No, it was bad, because he said bad at the end. That's it, Lemon's family. A lot of digs these days, man. I don't know about this individual.
Who was that?
Lemon's family.
Lemon's family.
I think he's
a prickly one.
He's
like Adam.
Adam,
he's good. He's good
Adam's
vibes, but he's a prickly one.
Yeah, but this one here, he just keeps like, it's just like the little pokes, and then sure enough, it's just like, hey man, are you sure about that? Yeah, don't poke the bear, man. I haven't traded Bitcoin in a long time. Silver, I don't know about that. We can go back. I don't want to have to pull up receipts now, Lemon family, and prove you wrong there, my friend. No, and aside from that, let's get back into these markets. LYFT, what is the SPY and the TQQs doing? Slowly starting to grind back higher. Like, this is the neckline that I was thinking about as a potential short, and now we're starting to head into that area. If we reject 52 once again, and we were talking about that yesterday, if we reject it and slowly start to curl over, maybe you'll find somewhat of a continuation to the downside on the short. So keep an eye on this zone. And if it breaches, maybe you go and test the high of the day as well. So keep an eye on multiple opportunities, plenty of time left within the day. And there goes Unity slowly starting to curl over, Sharif. I might have to engage in this one more time.
Engage. All right. What was that StarCraft character that said something engaged? Was it Battleship, guys? I'm pretty sure Battle Cruiser. I'm pretty sure it was Battle Cruiser, right? Fact check me, please. Battle Cruiser operational. Good day, Commander. If you know, you know, man. I used to play that all the time. Yeah, Katina, man. You never played StarCraft, Katina, man? Yeah. All right. 4 Alt J. It is StarCraft, right? Yes, 4 Alt J. Great question, brother. I really want to point this out. What do you guys think about hourly order block bounces? So I'm assuming you're talking about institutional buying, right, on the hourly, and you're looking for reversions or bounces off that level. That's kind of what my understanding of what order blocks are. But I got to tell you, I don't usually use that because I don't trade these large caps or anything other than small caps intraday. So I personally have no opinion on it. What are you doing over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man is long Tesla and NVIDIA at the moment. Can we go to the Katina Man screen real quick, Assassino, if possible? There he is. He's in at the lows there, and he's moving back up. Katina Man, can we see the NVIDIA one as well? Just for there it is, guys, off the low and looking to take out that flat top there where there's been a whole bunch of resistance. Shout out to the Katina Man. He's doing it live. So that's my understanding, brother. Do you have anything to say about order blocks? My understanding is it's institutional buying on the hourly chart at key levels.
Yeah, no,
right?
I
Like key price zones where they often place large orders. That's my understanding. If I've got it wrong, chat, let me know. But that's basically my understanding of that. And I have nothing to really say about that because I don't use it. So thank you for the super chat, but I don't have much to add in the way of that. But I do have this to add, Assassino. There goes QNCX into that 95 penny area. We have 86s on. We took out 95. Keep it down, Ram. And then we're looking for 98 penny high. It is a 98.01 high. Let's see if this one gets up into the dollar. It certainly couldn't take out that dollar earlier on at 11.50, but this is a new time, a new candle, and a new price move up on QNCX. Let's see if we can take out that seller there. Now, Stimmy is displeasing me. STIM, we're flattening out here, break even on the remaining amount. It lost 2. It has a whole bunch of support at 2. I realize that. But if it wants to start printing new candles to make new highs, especially on the 5, we'll get back in. We don't need to get it back in now. And then last but not least, DXST. We took this one and we took this one into 29 with the beak at 29. It came back into 27s. I didn't like what I saw. A whole bunch of lower highs, especially with that topping tail candle at 12.25. I flattened out and got the hell out of there. So we're profitable on that one, and we're profitable on every single name we have traded today, and they're 5 for 5. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. 4 Alt J. LOL, they always pronounce my username wrong. My bad, bro. It's for real TJ. TJ, appreciate the input though. Hopefully Neil has some insight about it, but not sure if he'll see it. I can ask Neil to, give me his opinion, and then he can message me in the chat. I can communicate what he says. Neil, his question was about these 1 hour blocks. I'm going to read it. If it's that. What do you think about hourly order block bounces? If you have any opinion, Neil, on that, just message me in the chat, and then I'll throw it, or I'll read it out loud to the viewers. But for the moment, guys, we're packing the patience here on QNCX, and we're looking for that move up into $1, my man. What do you got?
All right, good stuff. Nakul, when did you buy it? Because I'm curious, I want to talk about this a little bit, guys. I got all out of lift there. It just came back. I'm like, we're chopping around. We're not doing too much. So we'll lock that in here. A nice little move there on LYFT, and then now it's starting to come back in. But that's fine. We're not going to complain about it whatsoever. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit, just kind of, and it's not necessarily directed, but there's an interesting way where you can approach these options trades, right? And we're going to use this example right now is that, okay, so we're trading at approximately 50% down from where we were on the previous highs. And Nakul's like, hey, I bought this contract. It's a leap. It expires January 2027. Do you think we can head back to the all-time highs? Now, my objective with that specific contract is, considering you're buying it so far out of the money, and essentially what is going to happen is day by day, this is typical with options contract, is that you're going to just lose a little bit, right? Like it's like death by 1,000 paper cuts almost. So what's going to happen is day by day, you're going to lose value of this every day that it's not appreciating in price, okay? So what the objective is when you're buying something so far out of the money, and this is what I was kind of touching on this morning as well too, is just understanding where the price of that specific contract is derived from. And essentially what I'm getting at here is when you're buying something so far out of the money, there's no intrinsic value to it. There's only one thing that price of that contract is derived from, and that is time. Right? So what you're essentially trying to do is not necessarily have that contract trade in the money, right? Because it would have to go north of $150 before January 27th, minus the theta that you've lost within that contract. So you would need it to go drastically higher than that. But what you want to kind of achieve here is a substantial move. I'm not saying relatively quick just due to the amount of time that you have, but in a span where you're not going to lose too much to theta, but you're also not going to trade in the money. So what happens with that contract when it's so, 1 second, Adair, when you're so far out of the money, and say you get a pop up to $110 from now, you're still only derived from that extrinsic value, time value, but the increase of that contract the contract will increase, but not necessarily in a moneyness way. You just want to capture that time value, get out of the market, and then reassess your situation and re-engage at a different time. So lock in that time value, all right? It's time. That's what one thing it took me a while to really understand in options market is like, why is this contract worth this, and why is this contract worth that? Adair, what do you have?
Excuse me, what I have here, Joe, is something on Meta. So it's interesting. I saw this headline on social media. I looked it up. Looks like this article is a couple hours old, though when I went to refresh it, it said it was updated as of 5 minutes ago. Nonetheless, just to contextualize this, because META is on watch after the Wall Street Journal reported that Meta's auditor, Ernst & Young, or EY, of course, also formerly associated with SMCI, reportedly raised concerns over a $27 billion data center deal that was moved off of Meta's balance sheet into a JV or joint venture with Blue Owl. So EY did actually approve this treatment, but it did label the situation a critical audit matter. So again, seeing these reports just circulate now, though they could be a couple hours older, that Meta's auditor had or flagged some issues with Meta's data center accounting, saying it is high risk. Back to you.
You know what they're doing, Joey? They let Blue Owl Capital own that about 80%, I think, of the Louisiana, pretty sure, the Louisiana data center there. And they're leasing the remaining, they're leasing it from Blue Owl Capital. So they shift the balance sheet, the debts, onto Blue Owl's balance sheet, and then they're just a lessor or a lessee, excuse me. You know what I mean?
It's like what Carvana did, kind of almost.
A little bit. Yeah.
Kind of like
funny accounting,
right? Like funny accounting. Like, hey, we're losing something, but I think the company was Drive Time or something along those lines.
Yes, it was.
So,
but we're seeing this a lot with these AI companies, guys. They're using SPVs, special purpose vehicles, to offload debt from their balance sheet onto these, let's call them what they are, essentially shell companies that carry the debt all the while. The main company, the Metas, whatever, it's not reflected there. So if that's not your cup of tea, right, steer clear of it. But they're obviously getting creative with how they're doing things. I don't think that's new for Wall Street, quite frankly. So.
Look at CVNA here. Damn, I mean, what was the company that wrote the short report on this name? I can't remember. It was something cool or something along.
Carvana?
Yeah. Boom.
Not the bear
nice
cave,
move, 30%. Yeah, I can't remember what it is. It's like a name Starship or something along those lines. But yeah, CVNA to the downside, guys, off of that high level, and kind of just correlating. We're not going to compare Meta and CVNA to each other, but kind of just funny accounting practices. And it's been going on for time. Like, this is so weird for a used car dealership to make that kind of move. Like going from, oh yeah, you're almost going to get delisted, trading to around like $3 or so. I remember when it was trading like $10 to climbing all the way up to like $490, $500 pretty much. Very rarely do you see that stuff. Can you take a look at the options chain on CoreWeave? For sure. Let's see if we can find anything interesting over there and see what we got going on CoreWeave. We're going to go over to OPEX here, 9 days away. and see where the majority of this open interest lays. Let's get the strategy builder off so we can see a little bit more detail. Increase in IV, guys. Increase in IV, so you're going to be paying an extended premium. Just keep that in mind, right? I think this is Writers Nation right now, so get those strategies out there. $100, seeing a little bit of a supply zone. As Brent would like to say, some positive gamma up in here. 14,800 contracts with 889 only traded on the session. What is CRWV actually doing? Let's pull it up. CRWV, how have you been performing as of late? $92. Ooh, steady downtrend, right? You want to wait for these levels to be broken down 50% off of that previous pivot high, and this downtrend still fully intact, Sharif.
I was looking at one of these car dealerships that like sell high-end cars. I'm not interested, obviously. Just
in the city.
Yeah, isn't it? Anyway, whatever the name is. So you should see what this guy was selling in 21, 22, 23. Even some parts of 24, this guy's, I would say 50% of his inventory were Lambos and Ferraris. There was just insane demand for those cars, and so he was meeting the demand. Go look at the inventory now. He's got a few, but I was literally telling you half his inventory were those cars, like supercars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now maybe he's got a few, and then it's just like everything under 100,000.
No one's really buying. No one's really buying. Well, when you have a flat
to the Canadian economy.
Yeah, when you have a flat GDP, then I don't know.
You got me thinking when you mentioned Vana, right? So
yeah,
I was thinking about that. I was actually mentioning that to my old man. I was like, well, maybe right now is the time for deals on cars. It certainly is on real estate. See the Canadian, see the average price of a home in Toronto?
Slowly dropping.
Below $1 million for the first time in like 6-7 years.
Yeah, exactly. What was I going to say here? I mean, but like, what kind of decline are we really expecting? Like, what are we sitting on right now? Around like 15, like the average price home has gone down about 15-20% or so?
Something like that. I think they were saying year over year was 6.5, but like not from the peak though. That's just year over year.
And I remember, what was it? How many total condo sales was it in December or
November?
It
was ridiculous. It was 25-year low, bro.
Yeah.
25-year low.
There's just no demand for it right now. But I mean, how much more of a decline can we expect in the housing market and the boomers who are unfortunate enough to
Here's my analysis.
More equity in their house?
There's no new supply coming online.
Yeah.
There isn't, because the condo starts are not happening. Prices are too high, municipal fees, all that stuff. So there's no new supply coming online, even though prices are continuing down. So what happens? Aggregate supply, aggregate demand meet the equilibrium, and then you get a price bottom. I don't think we continue to make new lows in the real estate market.
No, that's what I'm getting at. Like, how low is it going to
like
go?
Tiny bit, Joey, because
very minuscule.
Exactly. There's not any new supply coming online. That's my analysis.
Yeah, it's like $700K for like the average price home in Toronto for a house that is like $700K USD.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, where the average price home is $1 million, we said here.
It was,
right? So
and now it's a little bit below.
A little bit lower,
Yeah,
sorry,
a little bit
but
below.
$650K USD.
Exactly. Yeah, give or take. Yeah. All right, guys. DXST, it's moving back up. It's on the way to 29. It held VWAP very cleanly. It's a 3-candle setup. I'm getting in here, and I'm just going to give it to below the volume weighted average price, a skosh below VWAP. Let's give this one another opportunity. So prior bar low, that's where we're going to keep it. 25.64, that's prior bar low. Let's go ahead and set that up, 25.50, and then we're going to give it, there you go. And we'll do just that. So it wants to go. We got 28s on right now. Let's go 29.5 for the first profit taker there. And then we're going to set up at 0.31.5. Let's see if we can get a breakout here. It's into the high. It's showing 29. There's 29. There's the move up. No prints. No new prints. No new prints. We need to cross the half penny area. So it's above 29 1/3. Can't clear the half penny area at 29. So we're going to need that to clear to get the print. And then let's see if this one can squeeze above 30. 31.05 is the high of the day. But there's a seller here at 29. We just can't shake them, especially at the third of a dollar. Zigging and zagging between the third of a penny. Wow. There it is into the half penny area, showing 49s. There was a huge seller at 49s there, so couldn't take out that level, so we'll pack the patience. Separately, I'm still holding QNCX because QNCX has a crazy area of support at 84. If 84 comes back in and it holds, I'm getting back into that one. But I'm focusing now on DXST. There is that 49 penny area. Again, there is the print finally. Now can we get a little bit higher? Here comes 30. All right, good strength here on DXST. Nice breakout. Could have had better price if I stayed into this one. There we go. Moving up into that 30 penny area. Let's see if we can get the wet the beak. There we go. We're going to wet the beak there. No, couldn't get that because we put too much of an offset there. All right, so that wasn't good. Well, we'll just let it go then. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher on that one.
Dude, that video I sent you last night?
Yeah. Oh, that was ridiculous.
Man,
so your boys, what was the name of it? Not Dong?
Da Nang.
Dong, yeah. So it's a city in Vietnam that Joey sent me yesterday, and the cost of living was below $1,000 a month, and we were living opulent.
It makes me sick. It makes me literally want to throw up.
Opulent.
It makes me want to throw up.
There we go. Here we go. So let's get to that in a second because this one is taking out highs. But I did really like the fact that everything is cheap other than anything American. So like the biggest thing he paid for was the Airbnb. Yeah. Everything else was like $1, $2.
Yeah, a couple dollars.
It was ridiculous.
I don't know if it's yeah, but hey, that's
What's the name of the city again?
Da Nang.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Yeah,
Da Nang.
well,
Yeah,
I don't speak. But
yeah,
something like I'm saying,
brother.
like the Canadian version of it, like
Sure.
the English version of how typical
I
individual
understand.
who does
I
it. But yeah.
All right,
Da
we're knocking
Nang.
on the door of 30 pennies here on DXST. There it goes. We're really on the way now. 31.05. There it goes above. Again, man, it gets into 32. It's an area of liquidity. I don't get the print. We're going to take the print here. Let's see if it can move up a little bit more. 32 penny high right now on DXST. Let's see if it can take out 31 decisively. It's showing 30.5. Right now, good look. Limit up, not like this is going to halt, but limit up is 44 pennies. It just flashed that to me super, super quick. How we doing here on the other one? QNCX. Looks like we're getting a hold here at 85 pennies. Packing the patience. There goes DXST into 32 pennies. We'll take the print there. Now we're setting up higher. We're setting up at 35. Let's see if we can get above 35. Here comes 31.5. Let's see if we can clear 32. 31.75 showing up. 32's, we got the sellers on the ropes, baby. They're running scared. 32.25. Let's see if we can get a little bit more. 33 in the cards. Let's see. All right, packing the patience. Calm down over here. Rivian long, says Tony. Get it, Rivian. Get it, Tony. I think Rivian reports tomorrow, boys, or it's tomorrow. Yes, thank you. So Rivian does report tomorrow, Tony, so be on the lookout there. And yeah, that's all I've got, Joey. I've got QNCX and DXST looking for a little bit more. They're both sub $1, so I do apologize to those traders who do not like these, but you know, the other ones aren't really setting up.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So Jonathan says, I just got back from the Philippines and I met some older Americans living off of Social Security in beach houses with live-in staff and living like rock stars. Very tempting to, dude, this guy's spending like a couple dollars a day on food and everything looks phenomenal.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's ups and downs, but yeah, beach life, everything else. Yeah. It's insane. I don't like talking about it because it just gets me frustrated. Yeah, moving forward,
Toronto's
guys.
expensive, yeah.
What's that?
Toronto's super expensive.
Dude, and it's like the roads are garbage. Like, yeah,
See that move Olivia Chow's trying to pull?
Yeah.
She's trying to keep real estate taxes at a 2.2% clip to lure us into re-electing her. And then the word on the street is, word around City Hall, is that she's going to bump it up 5-6% once she's back in office for another 4 years.
Didn't she do that? It was like the first thing she did in office was raise property taxes.
The property taxes have gone up 25% in 3 years. 3 years.
Bathurst and Dufferin, some of the busiest streets in the city, are reduced to 1 lane. Parking tickets have now been doubled, literally, to $120. I'm like,
know, bro. They don't know where to get the money.
I tried to fight my ticket.
They don't know where to get the money.
I tried to fight the ticket. I'm like, yo, you guys can't just be ticketing me everywhere, essentially, where I go. It's like, oh, too bad. City's broke. We need the $120. $120. And I'm like, you know what, man? Yeah, that's it.
But Joey, Joey T.
What?
Joey T in the chat. Toronto has the lowest taxes out of all the GTA, by the way. You are accurate. If we're comparing it to Markham or York region, Peel region, Durham region, you're accurate on that. So I'm not going to disagree with that. It's just because in Toronto, you're also getting rinsed for other things as well. So that's kind of my
land transfer tax is probably the most. Yeah, we know what Adam James has to say.
Oh my days.
Land transfer taxes is
Look
just
at
like
that super.
What do you say?
Look at the super.
Who sent that? Is our boy?
$100 super chat by David.
Canadian parking ticket, man.
That is big. There you go.
Yeah.
You got your
Well,
Canadian parking
listen,
ticket paid for.
I got a couple of those, man. I'm just saying, those got to be paid. Otherwise, they won't renew your license. So yeah, they'll just take it away from you, man.
Oh
You
yeah.
can't renew the old license.
Yeah, you can't. If you have tickets, they don't let you.
Jokes on them. My license hasn't expired for 4 more years, so ha ha ha. But no, thank you very much, David. It means a lot.
Very nice
going straight towards the show, but Zen's on. But yeah, all right, guys, right back in here, and this is the levels that I was talking about on the TQQs and on the SPY. Are we slowly starting to curl over? It kind of looks like it. So be patient as the volume starts to cool down. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple clean more flushes here on today's intraday price action. Let's head over to the higher time frames and see what we got going on. I hope my grandma didn't hear what I just said, because I'll be getting a text about that momentarily, saying, Joe, you better be paying those. Yeah, it doesn't matter how old you get. They're still in your ear at all times.
100%.
So $51.48. Let's see if we can get that curl over here. And the same thing with the SPY, guys. Things slowly starting to turtle shell as we head into key support levels. Now that can act as possible resistance. So that's what I got going on. I'm not in anything right now, so we'll be patient and wait for a high quality opportunity. Again, once again, we had some pretty good trades on LYFT, on LYFT, and on Unity, so we don't want to give too much of this. We want to keep the ball rolling and stay in that flow state and wait for those high quality opportunities. I haven't been going gung-ho on the trades. Nice, a couple opportunities earlier in the day. We try to hold them throughout the session to see if we can get the ball moving here, guys.
And thanks again, David, by the way. That's very generous of you. Obviously, you didn't have to do that, but thank you very much. And it's funny, too. It's always nice when it's money and funny. All right, guys, about 5 minutes or so. I don't see us. So we got Louise coming up, man. Yeah. We're going to be very excited for that. Oh, another one. Frederick dropping 10 in the chat. Thank you very much, Frederick. I live in Brockton, Massachusetts. Roaring Kitty's family home is 10 houses down the street. We have potholes so deep. Oh, my days. I don't want to say that last part, but yeah. Anyway, thank you, Frederick.
This guy is the Boston humor, right?
Oh man, that is funny. But yeah, look, I think it's a northern thing, obviously, because when I go to Buffalo, I go to Detroit, anywhere Rust Belt area where the climate is very similar to ours. I see busted roads everywhere. But, Joey, we know, man, the hot, the cold, it messes with the pavement.
Yeah, but Sharif,
right?
how much taxpayer dollars does it cost, essentially, to send a couple of city workers down each road? You go down Yonge Street, you go down University, you go down Jarvis, you go down Bathurst and Dufferin, and just literally drive north and south. They're not that long, and fill the potholes.
Evidently too much.
Too much. Well, yeah,
evidently too much.
On other things,
yeah,
right?
Clearly.
We got to spend it on other brilliant things like painting Bathurst and Dufferin half the lanes red for whatever reason.
They made bus lanes, but your boy Joey Options is driving in the bus lane, man.
Don't incriminate me, man. First of all, like, we can spend money on painting lanes red, but meanwhile, we're not going to fill the potholes. We got to drive there to paint it red, but we're going to bypass all the potholes and not fill them.
Drop systems, don't even try with me. Habibi, come to SoCal for potholes. My sister lives in SoCal. You guys have it way better when it comes to roads. I'm not saying you have it better for everything.
Oh, you know what?
I've been to LA County, especially downtown.
Yeah. Da Nang, no potholes.
No potholes?
No potholes.
How's that even possible?
You're living cheap and no potholes.
All right. We're having a great time, guys. There goes QNCX, Katina Man. We're going to have to go to Adara, but I want to find out what Katina Man had to say. Go ahead.
A quick update here. DOCU on watch NVIDIA's AI account. NVIDIA AI just posted that looks like DocuSign is using NVIDIA's Nemotron parse model to help, quote, redefine what's possible in document workflow. So NVIDIA's AI account shouting out DocuSign for the use of one of its Nemotron family of open source models. Nice look here for DOCU's bouncing a little bit. Just something to be aware of here, guys. Back to you.
Very much. Lemon Family is making me chuckle. 215 sugar-free. Bro, our potholes have fish in them down here in Philly. But yeah, Philly is more north, right? Like, you can say it's similar to Toronto climate. It's more like New York, right? So New York and Toronto aren't that dissimilar. I know New York's a little warmer. Looking for QNCX to continue here. We added back into this one like a psycho. And there it is, taking out 93. We're looking for this one to retest 98, guys. It's got higher lows. That's what's keeping me optimistic. Moreover, it has that buyer at 84. Now looks like that buyer has gotten more aggressive. He's buying at 85 because we defended 85 quite well. It was an 84 buyer, then it's an 85 buyer, but we still have all the selling coming in south of $1. So I'm keeping my eye on that separately. I'm closing out my trade here on DXST as it's dropping back down into break even. If it sets up a little bit better at the volume weighted average price, I jump back into that. But now my focus goes on QNCX, and now we're going to wait for 98s, okay? That will be the high of the day. Technically, it's a 98.01 high of the day, but I want to wet the beak south of that $1 if we do make it back up there. So I'm going to pack the patience on this one. Guys, we're going to have Luis coming on in about a couple of minutes. If you have specific questions about shorting these small cap gappers, tag myself or Joseph right now so we can accumulate them and then bring them to Luis's attention and see what kind of answers he's got. He's here, so we'll get him in a second, but throw in the chat right now if you have a specific question about shorting small cap gapper stocks for Luis Barbado. Throw them, tag myself or Joe in the chat so we see them. If you don't tag us, we're not going to read every line, right? Because we're trying to do multiple things at the same time. Let us see them. And then we'll pass them on to Luis. So I only got one position right now, QNCX. We're looking for the move into 98s. We got 88s, Joey. I'll send it to you as we.
Yeah, we gotta ask Luis when he comes in with the potholes in Barcelona are like. I think that's gonna be really important. Aside from that, guys, this is what I was talking about, the slow curl over here in the SPY. Is that gonna happen here in the TQQs? Maybe we get a roll over here. As I mentioned before, that $52 mark acting as somewhat of a resistance zone, and the same thing with the SPY, slowly starting to curl over here, guys. And I'm thinking I really would love to re-engage in this Unity short, but I just don't know if it's setting up, and I don't want to go against the grain right now. It's just more or less going with the flow, right? We had that move back down into this trend line here on LYFT, and it's still holding up relatively well. So we'll keep an eye on some of these names. We might have to play a little bit of the market. We'll go small size to see if we can add a little bit, but if we end up losing some, that's fine. But we're going to go in with a positive mindset and just saying, hey, let's be patient, let's wait. With that being said, if I'm looking at the SPY or the TQQs, what do we have to do? We have to typically keep our eyes on the Mag 7 and the big boys, right? So with that, let's take a look at Apple. See how it's been recovering on. It's still holding up around those highs. So a big time move here in AAPL when the market is just essentially moving sideways. It's still holding up its own. So AAPL looking pretty good. Microsoft. Ooh, taking a leg down. Is that going to help drag the T's down? No, it doesn't look like it. NVDA, what are you up to? Still hovering just above the volume weighted average price. Amazon. Yeah, this is a trickier one, Gorvin. I told you, like, we can go back into all my documentation. Like, these big boy names, I've just been swaying away from right now. I think there's been some quality opportunity outside of them, and with earnings season, you'll be able to find those mid-cap names that have good, nice, clean price action, like we found in Unity short today and in LYFT. Meta, down to $660. You're $100 off of that earnings report pop. Excuse me, that espresso. So I mean, you pop up to 742, and then it's just 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive red days. You get a little bit of a breath, and then now you're continuing that downwards trajectory, with this gap being completely filled. Moving on to Broadcom, what are you up to from the daily? You're still off of those previous highs, $413 to $340 there on Qualcomm. Taiwan Semi, new all-time high today, Sharif, on Taiwan Semi with a high of $379. Applied Material putting in a solid one as well, too. We were talking about that.
1.6 trillion. 1.6 trillion. We're headed to 2 trillion.
I think at this point you're gonna run into that $2 trillion club. But yeah, it's that time, guys. Luis is about to hop on the show. We're gonna figure about the potholes in Barcelona, and we're gonna also talk about some small cap price action.
There he is. Luis, thank you for being on again. Great to see you. I hope you had a good trading day. Couple of questions. I want to show you this chart where I'm looking at right now, Luis. NCI is the ticker. It's still up nice on the day. I'm sure you have eyes on it, about 75% green. So this one I was looking at, Luis, as a possible short setup. But before I tell you kind of what I think about it, what's your opinion on this? Is it a good short setup? And if it is, what would your methodology be entering on this one?
Yeah, it's a good short setup for a couple of things. First, because it's a history of pump and dump stock. It often goes up and down. And also because we have some short, what we call short into resistance. So you short these levels just in front of the two because you have some resistance here from previous days. And after, I can show you my execution chart as well, as you can see it here. Okay, well, as you can see, I do a lot of scalps, but this is all short against these two. And then we took a couple of longs here and then short against this VWAP, as you can see. Okay, so it's a good short because we have previous days resistance and we have a history of pump and dump on this ticker.
So I see you literally have the top there, Luis, right around $2. The high is 209. So I got to ask you, was that $2, 209-ish area, is that the previous area of resistance that you were speaking about on the prior day? Is that why you got in around 2?
Yeah, because of that, and also because of price action level 2 reactions to those round numbers, a lot of offers coming in, big sellers, hidden sellers, and all these kind of tape reading skills that you develop with the time.
Okay, I want to ask you one more, Luis, and then we have a lot of questions from the audience that want to ask you as well. I want to get your take on QVCGP. So I was looking for an actual long on this, Luis. It did a bit of a, what we call a Christmas tree retracement, green on one side and then red on the other on an upside down kind of V. It lost VWAP. And then it started using VWAP as resistance as opposed to support, but it had a bit of a $5 base. Is this one you would have set up on? Were you looking for, that topping tail candle? Because this was the indicator to me. That 1055 candle on the 5 ended up being a topping tail candle, and it's the largest volume bar on the day that ended up being a reversal candle. What was your look on this one?
You're absolutely right. We haven't traded that ticker, I have to say, so I cannot help you a lot, but you're right. That candle with the highest volume of the day and the rejection of a round number, probably if you could see in the level 2 some sellers, hidden sellers there, adding position into the short side. So it's a good call. If you don't want to go front side there with higher risk, you can wait for the VWAP to break and go short against this VWAP as a resistance, you said.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Okay. Do you have any questions for Luis? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Luis, good to talk to you once again. So just going back to our previous conversation that we had last week between you and I, just the criteria, I know what I want to do here is just get in a little bit more in depth with the actual setup and leading into and after the setup. So we're looking at specific amount of shares, anything over $1, you don't trade anything less. But I'm curious to know, like, when you see a high quality setup, say you're running into resistance zones and you're in an intraday standpoint, you're starting to see the stock rejecting it, how do you size from an exponential standpoint? Do you have a grade of quality within your setups, like A quality, B quality, and C quality? And if so, how are you sizing into something that may be of higher quality?
Well, first of all, as you say, you have to categorize the setups for the quality, A+, A, or even V. Also, you have to understand what kind of trader you are. If you are a very active trader, as I am, so I have a wide options of sizing. So I take even V or C setups, let's say very low quality of setup, but I manage the risk with the size, as you say. So I take very low size on those ones because I like to take a lot of trades. It's my experience, my background, so it's difficult to change that for me. But when I have A+ setups, I go bigger, of course. And also you have to measure always what is, most of the day traders, we work with a daily loss. So you have to measure your size with your daily loss as well. It's not the same if you have a $100 daily loss or $1,000 or $10,000 daily loss. You have to measure this and also measure the volatility of the stock. So what is the worst scenario? What is the best scenario? And where are you? What are the zones that you are going to recycle shares because you still like the trade, but you want to take some profits, add into the winning positions, and also what parts of the trade, what prices you are going to stop out of the trade. And all those together, and of course, again, level 2, how are the bids and the offers, how big are the bids and the offers so you don't have slippage is also important.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic stuff. And with that being said, I like the fact that you mentioned recycling shares. So if you were to have a higher quality setup, you're sized in fully, and it really starts to work for you, you add more shares, you take some off, and you continuously add to that P&L, which also widens your daily stop. You work along those lines as well, too?
Yeah, absolutely. And we can check one trade of yesterday because I think it's a very nice setup. And we will see some examples of these recycling shares. Absolutely. Yesterday, we have a stock that was AVP. Okay, this is what we call a VWAP rejection. We have a very active overnight popping up from 150 to 280 and a very active also opening at 4 New York City time. We have another run here to 330. But then the stock is totally destroyed, going down. So at that point, we are waiting for the stock to pop to the VWAP. We short the stock in this VWAP, take profit. We short it again here. We can see a couple of examples of traders who did this in the office. There you go, AVP. Hold on, it's loading. It's a little bit too slow now, but the idea is this, to go short here in the VWAP, take some profits out of the table, and again go in the VWAP when you try again to break it, okay? There you go. Here we have one trader, okay? He missed this chance of shorting here in the VWAP, but when the market opens, short there, out, in again, and out. And look at this guy, even better. He short the stock here, adding more out, adding against the VWAP and holding all the way down. So this is one of the tickers, one of the setups we really like.
Luis, thank you for that. We have some audience questions, some good ones. The first one, Luis, what time frame and indicators do you think are best for identifying tops for short entry?
I always trade in 1 minute candles, okay? That's the time frame, but sometimes I go back to 3 minutes, but it doesn't matter so much what is the time frame, the candle you use, as long as you always look to the left side. We can have an example of yesterday. You have 1 minute candle, right? You have 1 minute candle on this ticker, was amazing yesterday, popping up from 170 to 238. You trading in 1 minute, okay, yes, but then look, 15 minutes, and you will see, okay, look, this stock is going up and down a few days ago. We go back this day, up and down again. This day, up and down again. So when you check the chart history in minutes and hours and day, you see how it usually behaves, this stock. So this stock is, even if you're looking in 1 minute, you know it has a lot of potential of pump and dump stock. So we go short on that and hold for the fade, all day fade. So 1 minute and indicators, I only use VWAP for stocks.
So VWAP, that's the indicator. But what you're looking for, Luis, you go on the daily, look for those topping tail candles, the reversals back down. You say to yourself, that's a repeat offender. It has a history of making big moves intraday and then dropping back down. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Look at this trader in the room, for example. First of all, he tried the long here to try to break out of the highs. It's a kind of a trade that you usually do, Sharif. But then once we have a lower highs and a history of pump and dump, okay, then he goes short in the VWAP, more short, adding all the way down. Unbelievable trade. But the stock went down from 240 to 0.6. Amazing, 80%, 70% fade.
Fantastic, Luis. One more question for you. It's about locates.
Sorry. I forgot one thing about this.
No,
Very
go ahead.
important. Check the data, okay? If you check the data and you have tools, as we have, you check ASI the data, and from the 9 gaps since 2020, 80%, almost 80% of them closed red. So it gives you a lot of confidence to go short if the stock is popping up over 20, 30%.
So you have that. I know that's your proprietary platform for your office, Luis. If people wanted to get data similar to that, any sources you could send them to? I'm talking about the data about going red on the day.
we create all these tools. We create all these charts, all this data, the scanners, and everything. So if someone is interested, of course, they can contact me on Twitter or email or whatever. But in order to do that, you have to hire, for example, we hire Polygon, which is a database. We hire Polygon, download everything every night, and check all the stats.
Fantastic. That's good information to know. I just got one more question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's about locate fees, Luis. This comes from a viewer as well. Did the locate fees increase over the past few years, in your opinion? Do you see the edge in shorting these small caps eroding?
Yes, it is true that the locates have been raising. At some point, we have to understand that this is a business and it has to be a win-win for everything. And with the shorting trend that a lot of day traders, small caps mainly, are shorting stocks, of course, the broker needs to make some money somehow. And with the small cap that we have very low float, there are not a lot of shares available. So yes, you have to pay for it. Still, we have an edge. I think around, if you're paying around 10 or 20% of your profit, monthly profit, still a nice way to make money.
Perfect. Fantastic stuff, Luis. All right, we like to end things off with a little bit of fun. You know what we want. We understand that it's dark. It's nighttime over there in Barcelona. Number one, what's the temperature like? And number two, what's the potholes like in Barcelona?
The parking?
No, potholes. The potholes.
The holes in the road.
The holes in the road. Is there a lot of holes in the road?
No. We don't have holes in the road.
Sorry. And the temperature?
The temperature, I think today is like 18, 20.
Oh, my
just a modest
God.
thing. All right. Fantastic stuff. Thank you very much.
Always leave us feeling bad about ourselves, Luis.
Yeah.
One last thing, according to the locate fees, we have also statistics that measure how the trader behaves when they locate, how much they pay, how much money they make. So let's see some stats of the group, and you will see how we measure this. For example, I put the whole month, and I get the data from the traders for the whole month, how much money they paid and how much money we made on this. So, for example, this trader paid 70% of daily loss. So let's say if he has $1,000 daily loss, this month has already paid $700 on locate. You would say, wow, that's amazing. But with that 70%, he multiplied that for 12 times. So if it's $700, he made over $8,000 with those locates going short. It's very important that you measure how much you pay and how much money you make with these specific locates. And also we measure how much of them we use, okay? Because maybe you're paying a lot, but then you don't get the whole position, or you don't even use it. This guy, for example, used 60% of the locates he paid. So no matter what, it's important that you measure all these in order to see if you are being efficient, buying the locates and trading them.
One more, Luis. We want, the chat is asking for your Twitter handle so that they can contact you directly. Can you give?
Yeah, at A Day Trading.
At A Day Trading. So just like the name on the A Day Trading. So at A Day Trading, guys. Perfect. All right, Joey, any questions?
No, that was it. Yeah, I was going to ask the exact same thing. Where can everyone find you on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it may be? But you answered our question, so fantastic stuff, Luis.
Thank you so
Twitter,
much, Luis.
at idaytrading, and the email is info@idaytrading.com.
Great information. You're getting a lot of love from the chat. As always, Luis, thank you for being on so much and giving us insights into shorting these small cap gappers. If you guys like what you saw and what you heard, join us every Wednesday. Luis is on with us at 1 o'clock. Thanks, Luis.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that was good there. Now, I think we're quarter after 1. Sia's back in the house. She's locked, she's loaded. We're gonna start the new segment shortly. Sia, give me the thumbs up when you're ready to go, and we'll jump right into that. Of course, Sergio, absolutely, brother. You're gonna have great information coming from Luis. And by the way, guys, he does join us on the morning show as well. I think he came in, was it yesterday, Katina, Manny? It was Tuesdays, thank you. Tuesday mornings and Wednesday afternoons. So if you guys want to jump onto that, he's always around. Shout out to Luis Barbado, who's been on the show since before I was here. When I was a viewer, I've been watching Luis. Come on. So Luis has been around for a long time, and we thank him for coming on, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm just looking at some of this poly market stuff. Bitcoin above blank on February 13th, 60,000 or 62,000. A lot of people saying yes by February 13th. All right, 60,000. So I'm just having fun with that. Mike Peter Ryder's on it as well too. Up or down February 11th. The majority are saying 1% up. So it's down today. So the winner's on the downside. Right, so interesting stuff there, guys. And this is what I was talking about not too long ago, right? You get that slow curl over. I'm waiting for this to happen in Unity, but it just doesn't seem to want to happen. Again, it's down 30%, right? And we're getting that breakdown here in LYFT. The downtrend now or uptrend now broken, heading towards the lower end of this range here, guys. So watch out for that $14 handle to come into play. Robinhood still hovering around that $75 mark. We had a low of around $74.83. We talked about the supply zone at $73. We didn't quite get there, but the week is not done yet. A small bounce in the SPY and in the TQQs. We're curling over on those neckline resistance zones that we were pointing out not too long ago. So the big boys look like they continue to be selling, but surprisingly so. NVDA is still up around $190, I believe, which as long as we're holding up in that, 191.5. Yeah, so as long as this name is holding up, I'm not overly scared that the market is going to continuously sell. Google's having a weak day. We'll see it up in the span of a couple of days, even though the downtrend, it has snapped, maybe a little bit of prolonged, but at some point it will reach to a new all-time high.
It's been trending down, Joey.
If the trend line is broke, it broke, right? Like it's broken now.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like I use the exact same. If we're gonna, I think we can compare the two. Microsoft, right? Like we go back, we'll zoom out here. This thing has been absolutely destroyed. But look at this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. This is what is it? Second or third in market capitalization now.
Yeah.
Microsoft?
3.77.
So would that put it in third place or third or fourth place or something?
So 3.77. So Apple right now is at 4.1. NVIDIA is at 4.65.
And Google's at?
Google's 3.77. So it lost. Softy is at, this is like right with the price action. Softy's lost 3. Softy's down at 2.9.
Okay, so now it's fifth. So it's fifth, right? So you're the fifth largest. At one point, you were the largest, like spans of a couple months ago, and then sure enough, bang, you crack it to the downside. We understand CapEx; they don't like it. Boo-hoo, Crimea River. It's the same thing. Like you're spending a lot of money. You're doubling CapEx here in Google in 26. So like this is gonna pull back. Expect that, but these guys are going to have the ability to monetize it, and they'll continue to do so via Gemini, via Google Cloud, and they're going to get their cash back without any form of question there. Eventually, it will continue to climb, but be patient on the buying, in my opinion, right now.
All right, guys, the IPO is open. MWH, it's open. It's been open for a minute. It opened up at 109. It is 119, so it's been open for 10 minutes. 3.84 million shares of volume. The opening price, let me just take a quick look here. It opened a little bit higher than 30. It looks like it opened at 30.20, 30.19, something like that. The top was showing 30. It is dropping down now. It is putting lower highs here on the 1 minute, sequentially lower highs. Looks like there is a buyer at $29. In fact, that is the low of the day, 29. This could be flat bottom break through 29. Katina is lit today, by the way. He's chirping in the back and he's making me laugh. $29 area low. See ya. Are we ready to go?
So we're going to start with Amazon getting the FCC approval to deploy additional 4,500 satellites, which now brings its planned low Earth orbit constellation to roughly 7,700 satellites. As you can see on my screen, the condition for this is that the FCC has said that Amazon must launch at least 50% of the approved satellites by 10th of February 2032 and the remaining half by Feb 10th, 2035. And Amazon has launched 150 plus satellites since April. The FCC, as I said, requires it to deploy 50% by certain set dates. And Amazon has already invested $10 billion into Project Clio, but the company has also said that it expects to invest another $1 billion in 2026 due to increase in deployment.
All right, so look, as we talked about, I think a few days ago, we talked about the launch cadence for SpaceX, ASTS, RKLB. The launch cadence is picking up. And we've seen, obviously, the umpteen amount of low Earth orbit satellites for SpaceX. But Joseph, the discussion between you and I centered around the disruption to the telecom companies that this could cause. We're talking about phones that don't need any new hardware, that are going to be able to connect to these low Earth orbit satellites for direct-to-cell signal. We're talking data, we're talking voice, we're talking everything. Is this time? And I was talking to my buddy Alfred about this. Katina Man knows Alfred. I was talking to my buddy Alfred about this. Should we be looking to set up aggressive short positions in some of these telecom companies?
And that's a tough question, man. That's a really tough question. Why? Because you already have the consumer base, so it'd be in their best interest to kind of start to collab with some of these names. Will Amazon want to? Will SpaceX want to, or not SpaceX, whatever Elon's got going on. What's the name? Starlink.
Yep.
Right. Again, we know that Rogers is doing it, I believe, already. So they're going to have to adapt. It's going to be a major disruptance into the business. But I think just considering they have the consumer base already, it'd be in their best interest to start finding some form of partnerships.
That's what I was going to say. Okay, we'll get back to this discussion. We got to go to Adair.
Over some stories with META. One of them came out during this talk with Luis, so I did put it in the chat and just so that people could get some kind of view of it. It was also briefly on the screen. Meta breaking ground in a new data center in Lebanon, Indiana, that'll be representing over $10 billion worth of investment. They apparently launched, quote, Dear Algo in the US, UK, and Australia, which allows Threads users to signal which topics they need to see more of or less of in their feed. Now, the other stories with Meta that came out earlier today, looks like we actually had Bill Ackman's Pershing Square take a stake in META as disclosed at their end-of-year filing. So that's why META, a little bit of a pop here. Then we had this drop coming through around 12:30 when we had the Wall Street Journal reporting that their auditor flagged them for certain accounting practices related to $27 billion in data center fees. Back to you.
Great comments here. Party P. I used to work for a telecom company for 9 years. They have rapidly decreasing margins, and the old model doesn't work anymore. I get the same feeling. Chaz less, something like that.
Read what the others had to say.
I'm going to get to them. Okay, I'll read this one.
No, I mean literally the others.
Oh, the others? Okay, I'll look at that one in a sec. All right, Chaz, telecom needs a complete overhaul. I've seen it overdue, but how do we do maintenance on these satellites? Very, very well said. But the same argument, Chaz, can be made for the Starlink satellites that are being used for internet at the moment. I don't know what he's doing for maintenance. I'm assuming that there won't be any maintenance and they'll just recycle them and they'll put new ones up there. That's my assumption, but I'm not sure. Let's read the others' comment.
At first,
City got too much.
I have what he said here first, Sharif.
Satellite connections. Go ahead.
Yeah, satellite connections work best in rural area with where the sky is more open, and he's saying it doesn't work as well in the cities just due to all the interference.
I can completely agree.
Which makes a lot of sense.
For now. Right?
Exactly.
Let's see how it ends up.
I mean, hey, listen, if we're going to talk telecom here, we have a corporation named Bell Canada that spent hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in changing the infrastructure, right? Going from copper to fiber optic, and you still can't have that 100% rollover.
No,
right? Like it doesn't matter what
they use copper
because
still, right?
some of the old infrastructure is still on copper, and I don't know if anytime soon you can get that full rollover. Will you get market share obviously decreasing from some of these names? Absolutely.
For sure.
But by that time, I think they have to find a way to adapt.
But before we went to Adara, you were bringing up a really good point.
Yeah.
Do we see partnerships with these companies?
They have no choice.
It's an existential threat to their existence,
They'll have no choice.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
They'll have no choice. It's either that or lose market share, and the more advanced the technology gets, you're going to just slowly dwindle your market share. And one thing that I think is most important, if some of these satellite connection plans are cheaper, then people are going to start to switch over immediately.
They're
right
not going to
away.
care.
Yeah, they're
as
not
long
gonna
as the
care.
technology is the same,
exactly.
or better.
They're not going to care.
All right, I think we've killed that. Sia, what do we got next?
We have another Amazon story next. Amazon has announced that it will expand its same-day prescription delivery service to 4,500 U.S. cities and towns by the end of 2026. This includes additional states such as Idaho and Massachusetts, and this will add nearly 2,000 new communities. So Amazon, as we know it, entered the pharmacy via its 2018 PillPack acquisition, and the company also began filing certain prescriptions at electronic kiosks as we know it. inside One Medical Clinics, which it also acquired in 2023. And as you can see on my screen, one of the statements from the vice president of Amazon Pharmacy was that patients shouldn't have to choose between speed, cost, and convenience when it comes to their medication, regardless of where they live. This seems like one of their goals.
This is really interesting, Sia, because Amazon's kind of known to be that company, much like Google, to have their hand in so many different cookie jars. And this is yet another cookie jar that they're willing to put their hand in and absolutely disrupt the competition. But as we saw yesterday when CVS reported earnings, CVS is on the move up. They are really changing their business model around for the better. It's never a good thing, though, for even a big company like CVS to take on a monster or gargantuan company like Amazon, because they can outcompete you, because they can continue to absorb losses in that division, which are buoyed by the other divisions, AWS, and keep the boat afloat, keep the, the profitability there. I do like how they're partnering. Now, just to go back to Amazon, they're partnering with Weight Watchers. I wonder why, so they can ship GLP-1s. And they also acquired One Medical in 2023. They're offering subscription-based primary and urgent care for $200 a month. I know that's south of the border. I'm not sure if you guys have issues finding family doctors south of the border. We certainly have that issue here. I think something like 30 or 40% of Ontarians don't have a family doctor, something ridiculous like that. So having a primary care, albeit for a cost, a reasonable cost, I would say at $200 a month, Joey, I'd get behind that.
And I like that you brought up the point here, Sharif, is like you have to be cautious of like CVS obviously being a massive company, but with Amazon's buying power, the last thing that you want them to do is kind of have that perfect customer like we mentioned with CVS yesterday. So they're going to start in pharmacies. What is the next step with that? Do you open up the doctor's offices where you can subscribe that? Do you head into the insurance game as well too? So once you've kind of cracked that open, I think there's only one way that this can go. They're going to continuously expand, right? They're literally like Google, but they're a little bit more expansive. Like they're getting into the pharmaceuticals. We talked about that a while ago. I remember reading up on it. Not only do they have Zooks, you have AWS, and now you're starting to get into this stuff. Watch out for this to continue to expand, and there's nothing really stopping them.
And I want to read a comment. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Joey. Carl Gruen, CVS, LOL. Have you ever been, let alone work at one? I'm assuming you think it's bad. And I gotta echo your sentiment. So when I visit my sister in the States, it's Walgreens and CVS that obviously I go to if I need to re-up on anything. And walking into those stores is like walking into our equivalent here at Shoppers Drug Mart in the 1990s or the early 2000s. It is not an updated format. It looks super dated, but the companies are making money and people continue to go.
I'll tell you this right now. I walked past the CVS in Dallas. It looked like a bomb went off. The complete dump.
Yeah, like, it's nothing like Shoppers Drug Mart.
Everything's locked up as well too.
We know.
Exactly.
Well, we saw what the videos online.
Or like sellers, somebody says. Sellers.
Remember those videos, bro?
Of the CVS?
Well, I know you're not on social media a lot, but they go in, five-finger discount,
boom, everywhere, left, right, and center.
Walk straight out.
Yeah, it's horrible, man. It's horrible.
Sia, what do we got next?
Up, we're talking about Tesla and its partnership with Tencent Cloud to integrate WeChat-based navigation features into vehicles in China. So now drivers can send location data directly from WeChat to Tesla's navigation system with one tap. So also, if you can see on my screen right here, additional information that the collaboration extends Tencent's intelligent automobile cloud strategy, which was first articulated in 2022, which already supplies technology to nearly 40 automotive brands in China. One of them is the big brand we know it, BMW. And suggestions coming back to Tesla may include restaurants, parking facilities, and nearby services, which will create a more of an ecosystem driven in-car experience. And the partnership is reinforcing Tesla's local adaptation strategy, which is one of its most important strategies in critical global markets.
Fantastic for Tesla, because if you've been to China, you know WeChat is the end-all and be-all. You pay with it, you message with it, you ride hail with it. I don't know what else, man. Tell me, guys, what else do they do with it? But I know that it is probably one of the most important apps there, and if Tesla is not functional with it, I think they're at a competitive disadvantage. And I even like this more because it's an over-the-software update. So you don't have to schlep over to a dealership, or in Tesla's case, usually they bring the Model X to you and do the more thorough updates or the repairs in certain cases. So I like this. I think that Tesla, if they want to have a footprint in the second biggest economy in the world, they're going to have to mesh with what they're using down there. But Tesla's had a history of not wanting to do that. You want to know the biggest example? CarPlay. Android Auto. Tesla refuses to put it in their models because they, in their opinion, they already have a sick system. Everybody likes their system. It's snappy, it's fast, it looks like an iPhone in a car. You know what I mean? So the fact that they actually integrated to this is a bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, it is a surprise.
A good move.
No, I mean, like you mentioned, you hit WeChat obviously on the head, and that's what Zuck's trying to get Instagram to be. And I think a lot of the apps, including X, that's what Elon's vision is, to have like the WeChat, the all-in-one app here. I think that's a good move. But does that mean in the future, do you think that would, like, and I want to ask you this, do you think that would, putting in the Android features and Apple CarPlay, do you think that would have any form of a dent in Tesla's already declining sales? It's like, oh, bam, your models, you can now have Apple CarPlay.
Great question, man.
I don't think it does. I don't think it's definitely not a needle mover, but could that intrigue individuals to be like, hey, now we have these features, we can now link our phones into the car a little bit better here?
I would say it would be, Joe, if the onboard system was garbage.
Yeah,
and
but
then
it's not.
It's not.
Yeah,
That's the thing. It's really good, right? Despite the fact you don't get to use your iPhone apps.
But could that be a way to monetize as well too? It's like, hey, you have this over-the-air software update.
It's a good point,
you can have the Android system and you can have the Apple iOS on your dashboard.
I think it's
for a small fee. Everything costs something.
Tell BMW in the heated seats.
Well, yeah, speaking of BMW.
Aziz dropped 10 Trader TV Live gifted memberships in the chat. Fanfare Planes, you got one. Farm Trader, you got one. Jay Nellis, how about Red Candles? King of Fring got one. T-Gun, The Hitman, Bret Hart, is that you? Andrew, Chill Music, Victoria, Palantir, y'all got one, and now you guys can get my morning note every day, so head on over to the YouTube homepage, hit posts, and then you'll see it right there. Thank you, Aziz, very, very much for the gifting the 10 premium memberships. And Sia, what do we have next?
Next up, we're talking about Meta and Instagram executives are facing the youth addiction trial. Instagram head Adam Mosseri is set to testify in Los Angeles, and Mark Zuckerberg is also set to be there, who will testify in the coming weeks. The American Academy of Pediatrics has warned that such design elements may exacerbate compulsive usage among children. And as you can see on my screen here, they also, one of the jury members said that these companies built machines designed to addict the brains of children, and they did it on purpose.
I got out of Meta. I got out of Meta for exactly this reason. I am really worried that this is going to be headline risk central, okay? I don't see too many people who are going to be sympathetic with the social media companies. This is a jury trial. I'm worried, okay? I think it's also going to bring a slew of new suits. There are apparently hundreds of different cases that are pending at the moment that talk about this exact problem. The plaintiffs are highlighting, Joey, the endless scroll feature, and they're arguing it encourages prolonged engagement and makes it harder for users, especially teens, to disengage. The American Pediatric Association's come out against it. There's lots of, we've seen Australia take an aggressive stance. We've seen European jurisdictions discussing it. I believe England is among them. We've also heard Prime Minister Carney here discuss it. Nothing was done so far. I don't feel that the social media companies are going to get cut any slack by anybody.
Not anytime soon. And we're not going to beat around the bush on the fact that this stuff isn't addictive. But that means if it's going to happen for Meta, what's going to happen to YouTube? What's going to happen to TikTok, right? Like if you're going to hit one of them with it, you have to go after all of the big boys. Snapchat as well too. So I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to pay a fine at the end of the day. They're going to have to change a little bit of their rules, but I don't think it's going anywhere. Too much money is made off of Instagram, digital ad revenue. They're paying too much tax. They're going to pay the fine, but let's not forget that this stuff is highly addictive, right? Like every day, it doesn't matter. The majority of the population is looking at their phone every day. I don't think Listen, it's funny. I made a joke between me and my friends the other day. I said, if you threw all 5 of us in a room, some of them are addicted to nicotine and so on. I said, who would be the first to be eliminated, right? Ooh. I bet you if you were to throw in, hey, who is the first to have to look at their phone? Everybody is immediately out right away. And I don't know if you guys have ever done this with a group of friends. I do this to Selena all the time because I know I'm going to win. I say, put your phone in the middle when we're eating dinner. The first one to pick up pays the bill.
Oh.
And yeah, exactly, right? So
you've been eating free this entire time?
Sometimes,
that's
brother.
Crazy.
Sometimes you're eating free.
Thank you for that suggestion, though,
but in all seriousness, that's
move.
how addictive some of this thing is, right? Like, I used to take the Go train in. 99.9% of people, you'd see the one individual who's reading the newspaper, older man. But everybody's either on their laptop or on their phone.
Fair. I believe that.
It's addictive. It doesn't matter if you're scrolling. It's just picking up this thing, getting those shots of dopamine, putting it back down. I bet you the majority of people can't go a single day without picking this thing up.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Most people, I would 100% agree. Ichiro, as always, coming in with a good comment. I'm a parent. That's my job to regulate my kids' use. I could not agree more. I don't think everybody else feels that way, though, Ichiro. And I think a lot of people want to point the finger. They don't want to be told they're not doing the right thing. They don't want to hear that. No, they want to. There's somebody else's fault.
But to add to that point, Sharif, we've seen over okay, it's your job to regulate the phone use, but imagine having to battle with your child every single day, like, hey, only an hour of screen time, only an hour of screen time. And we know what kids are like, especially myself. It's going to be a complete war if they want to play Fortnite, if they want to hop on the Instagram or do whatever it is. It's just making your life that much more difficult.
Well said, Joey. Guys, just before we go, QNCX is really, really looking like flat top break candidate over here. I just want to show this, and then we're going to go to SIA momentarily. It's still that 98 penny high, but I think the shorts here, they're in a lot of trouble, okay? Unless this loses 85 pennies, I think we are accumulating for an ascending wedge flat top break. There are the higher lows. All the while, it's been that 98 penny area. And let me tell you something else. That 98 penny area is not just from today. Take a gander at what we did yesterday in the aftermarket when there were no volatility halt parameters. So if we couldn't breach 98 yesterday, we have a higher low, and we're looking at that same area top. So 98 pennies-ish on QNCX could be crazy. Keep your eye on that. And as always, use sound risk management skills because it is coming back down now aggressively right into 88 pennies. This could be a buy zone here on QNCX. We'll get to that one a little bit later. I'm going to send it back to Sia.
There's an app for, Do the Wave says there's an app for that to help with kids on the phone.
Oh, really?
There's an app for that.
Yeah. Is there? There's an app for I'm sitting there like, think about it. All right, man. Sia, what do you got?
We're going to talk about Robinhood right now. Certain revenue miss, but Robinhood has reported a Q4 EPS of 66 cents, beating the estimates of 60 cents. But revenue has come in at $1.28 billion, which missed the $1.34 billion consensus. Shares also fell 6.2% in late trading. And let's also talk about the assets and deposits. Total platform assets climbed 68% year over year to $324 billion, which was driven by a record of $68 billion in net deposits for the full entire year. Robinhood Gold subscribers also increased to 4.2 million. Options revenue jumped 41%, and equities trading revenue rose 54%. Crypto revenue has dropped 38% to $221 million. Net interest revenue has risen 39% to $441 million. Let's also talk about costs and capital allocation. Operating expenses have increased 38%, making it up to $633 million. But the company has also repurchased $100 million in shares at an average price of $119. I'm sorry about that on my screen here, $119.86.
All right, so interest revenue is obviously very important. Their top line number, $1.28 billion. Of that $1.28, $411 is from net interest revenue. So net NII is going to be super important here. Net interest income, net interest revenue, whatever you want to call it, okay? So I'm kind of concerned about that as we talk about possibly rates going down later in the year. Obviously not now. And, you know, with the economic numbers today, it looks like we're forecasting it later. It was June. Now, apparently, it's July. So net interest revenue, net interest income, a headline number or a headline here for me to be on the lookout for. Secondly, crypto revenue dropped 38%. I was telling Joey off camera, I'm like, who didn't see this? Bitcoin gets cut in half. You think crypto revenue is going to be at the same point, same level it was at last year? Of course not. People are not punching in the same amount as they are when things are moving up, even though there's the same amount of money to be made to the short side. The fact of the matter is, most people do not take that short. They'll take it long. And that's why you're seeing crypto revenue drop off a cliff. So two things I'm looking for to rebound, not the next maybe quarter, but maybe the next couple of quarters or the next year. Does NIV, net interest revenue, maintain its elevated levels, and whether crypto revenue rebounds? Joseph, what's your take?
Where do I start? I mean, let's not beat around the bush. Like, you're starting to see a little bit of a decline in some of the growth, but we're still growing half decently. I mean, 5% in some transactions, 8% in options activity. You have the gold membership up to $4.2 million. We were talking about that a couple quarters ago at 2.5, 3 million. That's still growing at a substantial rate. And to add to Sharif's point in the fact that it's like, hey, people aren't going to necessarily be shorting crypto, right? So you're not going to see that transaction revenue step into play. But what you need to do is you need to wait for that new wave of traders and investors to step in. And I like the point, that fact of like, hey, we have to wait a couple more quarters, maybe even a little bit longer, to see that really start to gain its ground again. And once crypto hits an all-time high, or if it happens to in the span of the next couple of years, who's going to benefit from that? If we're so gung-ho on essentially correlating Robinhood with cryptocurrency, which I don't think is the right thing to do in my opinion as an investor of the name, because there's so much more going on with it. You're getting Vlad starting within the prediction markets, totally fine. But one thing that is really important, I think is big and isn't looked upon, even though it's only happening in Europe, is the tokenization of private assets. I think that's going to be massive, a little bit harder here in North America, but there's a lot more going on with this name than just correlating it with crypto. Yes, we understand that it took a hefty hit because Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these altcoins are on a steady decline. Totally fine, but once you get outside of that narrative, which I believe Vlad Tenev has every intention to do so, he still wants to create that financial super app. I think he's going to get into that neck of the woods. So a couple bad quarters isn't bad in my opinion. I like Robinhood still.
Adara, what is your take on Robinhood?
I want to zoom in, as I often do, on a part of the report that I don't think got a lot of attention, but I think we should at least consider looking at. So here's the thing. I do want to echo what Sharif just said here about it's not shocking that crypto revenue would decline. In fact, Brendan, when he was sitting right up next to me when we got this report, he said before we even got the earnings, hey, crypto revenue we should watch, probably not going to be great. In fact, it wasn't. But here's the thing. Regardless of this crypto revenue, there's something the company tried to do to kind of mitigate it that I think is interesting and I don't think we should be overlooking. I mentioned it last night, but I want to mention it again because I've done more research. So I apologize, this infographic is very highlighter, yellow colored. Robinhood, that's your brand color. I have to live with what I have to live with. But you can pull this up on TTV Research to read it more clearly. I want to talk about this fun little other subcategory here in transaction-based revenue. Because this subcategory, I immediately flagged because it wasn't in their last quarterly report. So what did I do? I went through all their quarterly reports, going back to their first quarterly report, Q2 2024. They have never, ever reported this other transaction-based revenue metric, not ever, not once. So why do you report it now? Maybe it's because it's up 300% year over year, but again, A, it's kind of hard to see if it actually is up 300% year over year when you've never reported it before. And B, this kind of looks a lot like what Oracle was doing with all of a sudden reporting that cloud infrastructure revenue out of nowhere to cover for a report that you worry the market might not receive well. This did not work for Robinhood, though, as we mentioned, it did work for Oracle initially. But Robinhood here, this 300% increase in year over year in other transaction-based revenue did not seem to really impact the stock positively in any way, but I did want to mention it. In terms of like other things here, it's very clear in general we did have a bit of a decline here in tradings volume as well as options contracts traded, at least on a sequential basis. I don't think that's that significant. We still have obviously, like, this is just kind of in terms of growth, but the metrics themselves are still increasing. Again, growth declining. And here's just a look at Robinhood's crypto revenue. Once again here, this, I think, probably the only thing that declined sequentially when it comes to revenue, but once again, just to kind of touch on these trading volumes here. Interesting look, sure, we're having a decrease in volume growth, but again, volume actually increasing quite sharply, at least sequentially, for options contracts and equity trading. Again, the biggest thing though is when a company comes up with a metric out of nowhere, you have to wonder why.
Let's, Sia, what do we have next?
Next up, we're talking about NET, Cloudflare, EPS of 28 cents versus the 27 cents. That was the consensus according to Zacks, which is up 19 cents year over year, marking a 2.04% earnings surprise. Cloudflare has also beaten EPS estimates in 3 of the last 4 quarters. The revenue is $614.51 million, which has topped consensus by 4.12% and is now up from $459.95 million a year ago.
Right, guys, net. This is interesting because they have been, you know, in some people's bad books ever since that outage with X. And, you know, somebody was asking me about this today on the technicals, and I'm like, this is basically a sustained downtrend. They're like, hey, what do you think about this? So let's have a look here at the technicals, because this is what immediately came to mind. I even said, I'm like, look, you know, this $200, or sorry, this 175, 180 level over here, it gave way, but it was quick to reclaim it. Well, that was the good news. The bad news is we keep putting in area highs or a little bit lower than the prior area high. So that does concern me here a little bit for net. And if it can kind of hold above this 175 area and especially take out 220, I think we're probably back in business. Other than that, I don't really have anything to say about this other than the fact they've beaten EPS estimates out of the last 3 or 4 quarters, 4 consecutive quarters. They've topped revenue estimates, and they're guiding decent here, Joey. Any comment there?
Yeah, I mean, I like the guidance that you're talking about here, Sharif, but I want to touch on some of the customers as well, too, direct customers, that is. I mean, you got a 22% year-over-year increase, $438 million, 73.3% in the quarter, including large deals with AI firms, Fortune 100 tech, and government contracts. I mean, channel partners as well, too, up 74% year-over-year. They're taking it on the nose, and I'm not going to compare it to the CrowdStrike outage or anything along those lines, but yeah, net. These software names ain't taking too good of a look here as of late, Sharif, and you're down continuously. Did you see how much from a percentage metric we are off of the previous all-time high?
I mean, we're well off.
259. You're getting a 27% haircut right there, and a gap up, right? Like if you talk about the earnings report, around its peak, we were up 14% or so on the session, and we've given back the majority of that here on a selling day in the overall market.
Tell us about LYFT, Sia.
LYFT is my favorite app ever. I only use LYFT, and I'm so excited. So, sorry, LYFT shares have plunged 15% in extended trading after reporting a Q4 revenue of $1.59 billion. It's missed expectations of $1.76 billion. The revenue, however, grew just 3% year over year, and bookings have risen 19% year over year to $5.07 billion. Net income was $2.76 billion, which was $6.72 per share. Active riders have come in at 29.2 million, just below the 29.5 million estimate by LYFT, and total riders reached 243.5 million, missing the 256.6 million. The board also has approved a $1 billion in additional share buybacks.
Sia.
Buybacks.
What I was taken by there, I don't know if you were taken by, but Katina, man, we were all kind of shocked.
At the buyback.
No. Sia's favorite app is LYFT. Get it, girl.
Out of all the apps on your phone, Sia.
Out of all the apps
on your phone. Uber is exorbitant prices sometimes.
So do you get better deals on LYFT?
100%. I literally, from my house, which is, let's say, for example, Midtown, coming all the way to Harborfront, because of like discounts, I get rides for $10 sometimes. LYFT will give me, Uber will give me $23 rides. That's crazy. I'm not spending that money.
How safe is the driver, though?
Sorry?
How safe is your driver?
I feel very safe compared to Hop, which had recently started. If you know, in last summer, Hop was an app, and apparently they were giving off like $6 rides if you come from Etobicoke to downtown.
That's crazy.
So it was crazy, but it was super unsafe. Drivers were.
Is that the green app?
Vehicle not.
Yeah,
the green
app.
I've seen that.
Vehicle not safety certified.
All right, Joey. Market cap of LYFT. Market cap of LYFT, Joey. $5.627 billion.
Okay, I thought you were asking me. I was going to say.
I'm going to tell you. So market cap 5.6. LYFT.
It's Uber.
Uber. $148 billion.
Yeah.
Okay?
But I mean, they offer more services.
I know, brother.
Right?
I
You
know.
what
I'm not trying to dunk on them, but here's the other thing. So look, this caught my attention here, Assassino. Management flagged that California legislation in reducing insurance costs led to lower share ride prices. What am I supposed to take from that? The fact that you dropped everyone's premium so they decided to drive instead of taking an Uber? If that is going to be precedent setting, then could we see that in other jurisdictions? And is that a headwind for ride hailing in general? So I'm not really sure exactly how to kind of digest that, but that is one of the things there. The other thing that caught my attention was all the metrics were either missing or in line. Bookings in line. Q4 revenue missing. Net income dropping year over year. Active riders below. Total rides missing. Adjusted EBITDA slightly below. Can you find anything good here?
No, that's why I shorted it today.
Get it, Katina, man.
So I shorted it.
You shorted it.
Yeah.
Show everybody the trade.
We've seen the
There it
trade.
is.
You know, we talk about it all day,
Talked
man.
about it all day.
Boom, there it is. But I mean, what gross bookings are up? What, full year 25, 15% year over year? That's not horrible. But when you're in competition with Uber, who's just continuously expanding, one thing the issue with Lyft, it's a one-trick pony, right? And then now you're starting to have the Waymos come into the city.
The Waymos.
Right? Like you have Waymo coming into Toronto.
I can't
right?
wait.
So who's coming after Waymo?
Are you taking Waymos or Ubers?
Absolutely. Why
Waymo.
wouldn't I try a Waymo?
Of
Why
course.
wouldn't I try it, right?
Absolutely.
Who's
Do you ever
coming
get
after
caught in
Waymo?
conversations you don't want to be in an Uber?
No.
And you just want to be polite and not be mean? And
No, I was never. No, I'm not that. I'm not that type of person, man. If you talk to me,
sometimes I don't want to talk, Joe. I'm tired, bro.
That's fair, man. But maybe a little conversation will wake you up. You know what I mean?
So it's my fault after
Yeah,
all.
it is your fault
All
at the
right,
end of the day, man. Uber Eats, Look, this is Ram 100%. Uber Eats, Uber
goodness
groceries.
gracious.
My Uber drivers also treat
Anything
it
about
like
food
a
immediately
dating
Ram.
app. Yeah.
All right, Sia, tell us a little bit about Shopify's earnings.
So about Shopify, Shopify is expecting a low teens area of revenue growth in Q1 of 2026, but analysts are looking for the revenue to rise to $2.95 billion from $2.36 billion year over year, which is a 25% growth. For full year 2026, the analysts are expecting revenue to reach around $14.26 billion, which is up from $11.56 billion in 2025, signifying a 23% growth, my apologies. So quick breakdown of the Q4 results. Revenue has risen $3.76 billion from $2.81 billion year over year, which is beating the expectations of $3.59 billion. Adjusted EPS has come in at 48 cents, which is slightly below the 50 cents consensus. Net income has declined from $743 million, which is 57 cents per share, from $1.29 billion, which was 99 cents per share. And gross merchandise volume, GMV, has jumped to $123.84 billion from $94.46 billion year over year, which is reinforced because of certain strong merchant activity. And monthly recurring revenue has increased to $205 million from $178 million. Lots of numbers here, guys. And free cash flow also rose $750 million from $611 million through free cash flow margin, which dipped 19% from 22%.
All right, so here's what I take right away from this. Our gross merchandise volume, GMV, that jumped big year over year, 124, let's just say billion, up from the 94.5 last year. Why do I care so much about that metric? Because that to me is signaling the strength or lack thereof of the consumer. And that is the bigger picture for a company like Shopify. If there aren't people to go on to their affiliate websites and their users' websites that use Shopify's platform, then obviously the company's not going to do well. If the consumer is weak, Shopify will be weak unless they can find some different moats. So that GMV, the fact that it increased that much year over year, is positive. The other thing is, sure, we saw maybe a little bit of miss on the EPS, especially adjusted EPS, 2 pennies below expectations. But when you look at it a little bit deeply, they're really spending here, and they're leaning into investment and their growth initiatives. So I'm not immediately, I'm not immediately wanting to kind of penalize them for an EPS miss here, knowing that where that money was funneled. All right, obviously they need to spend money to grow. So those are my two takeaways from here, that GMV is continuing to go up, and the EPS miss. The caveat here is they're leaning heavily into investment, Joey.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about this name. Hit the O Canada there for me, Katina Man, if you don't mind there, brother.
He's got his headphones.
He's got his headphones in. All right, much appreciated on that one, man. I always hit the stone cold for my guy over there. Can't get the O Canada on.
Well, he's doing a head bob, my boy.
He's got
the head bob going on.
No, but in all seriousness, Sharif, like if we go over to the subscription solutions here, 17% year-over-year growth. But one thing that really stands out for me is that 81% gross margins. That's insane. Merchant solutions as well too, starting to increase year-over-year growth. Gross margins in the high 30s. So this name. It is taking a little bit of a dive. There was a nice strong pop up, but I think it's selling with overall weakness. You're down 36.5 or 37% from those previous highs, guys.
All right, we're supposed to go to Adara for LYFT. So Adara, please give us your take on LYFT. My mistake, I missed you there.
Yeah, I guess I'll be quick. I just wanted to talk here with LYFT specifically about kind of the difference in the trajectory with their revenue growth and their gross bookings growth. So gross bookings, basically, you have sequential growth and year-over-year growth each quarter, but more interestingly, it's the expansion of the year-over-year growth for gross bookings in the last 2 quarters of the year that I really like. So you've got roughly 16% year-over-year growth in Q3, then that goes all the way up to 19% year-over-year growth in Q4. So yes, we have the revenue decline sequentially and only 3% year-over-year revenue growth for Q4, but I almost think that's negated by how strong the gross bookings are, because that shows you people are trying to use their service, people are getting involved, they actually like that look for the company, and in a way play devil's advocate a lot, but this time I have nothing bad to say with regards to this gross bookings growth, and because they explain their revenue miss just with the fact they had those charges, I cannot fault them for that. Let's talk here about the rides and active riders. So this is kind of an interesting look. You've got an increase in active riders, but less rides being taken. So this is, I would have to wait to think about this correlation a bit, but yeah, it seems like even though you have more customers, people maybe using the app less of the more people you have. Now, maybe what you wanted to almost see is the inverse correlation, or you would probably for a lot of other companies and types of metrics, where you have less customers, but they're using the product more. So I don't know, that's an interesting look, but overall, I do like that gross bookings are expanding as a whole. We're gonna send you back to the guys.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. All right, Joey, 158 and a third. So I think it's like a stop price.
That's crazy,
My bad, man. So we'll let Sia do her thing. Let's go over some movers here as we wind down the show. The big boys are already locked and loaded and ready to go, guys. It is the DXST show right now in the world of small cap gappers, up 91 and a third. Just got into the high of the day at around 35 pennies, a little bit less, but it's looking very breakout positive here. So keep your eye out on this one for the remainder of the afternoon. And then as I called the flat top break on QNCX, it literally dropped as I was saying it. It dropped by a little bit there. Rejects 98, drops all the way back down to 70, holds 70. That's a 27% drop, quick as you like. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this one tomorrow, because if it doesn't clear 98 pennies tomorrow, this is the second day where we can't clear 98 pennies. Take a look at what we did yesterday in the aftermarket. And mind you, that aftermarket move has no volatility halt parameters. So, more likely than not that we could have broken it. So there is clearly a very committed short seller or profit taker at this 98 penny area that the market can't seem to shake for the moment. So that will be on my watch tomorrow, Joey. What else are you watching? Anything? Leave them with a thought.
For tomorrow, should I do, hold on, this is Katina Man segment. What is it? Tomorrow's trade today. We're going to fire that one up there.
Tomorrow's trade today?
Yeah.
Is that Katina Man segment?
Yeah,
that's actually brilliant. That's actually brilliant. I'm not going to lie. That's actually really funny.
Yeah, in all seriousness, guys, we only took a couple names here. LYFT, we were sitting in this short all day. Unity as well, too. We got the nice downside move and a small scalp on Amazon. I seen who did this one. I think Jeff Goldblum. So we'll steal that one from there. It's the new heart, apparently, formation. No, but we'll throw them all out there. Thank you guys all once again. Or we could throw up that as well too. No, in all seriousness, Jody, have a good one.
Polos again, my boy.
Are you crazy?
No, not now.
I know, the air is on in here right now. We'll wait until the summertime when things get a little bit more warmer. But fantastic stuff as always. A good one going over the news, guys. A solid trading session. Make sure you keep it green and be patient out there. We're gonna send it off to Neil and Sean right now, guys.